Hello and good evening, and welcome back to the Rose City, Portland, Oregon, in the Pacific Northwest. Tonight, we take a brief break from the main events of Night of the Wyrm, a World of Darkness chronicle from Tabletop Misfits, and instead tell a side story. It's time to rescue Wilco. Before we jump into things, however, I do want to give my cast the opportunity to introduce themselves. Since I'm off mic, I'll begin with saying that hi, I'm Sam, also known online as Dungeon Samster, and tonight I'm playing everyone besides these four. And I'm going to go ahead and popcorn over to Sam.
Hi, I'm Classic Sam NYGM, Classic Sam NYGM on all social media platforms. And tonight I am not playing Cassandra, I'm playing Kiriana, who is also Malkavian. However, she's a thief and she hates Cassandra. I'm going to popcorn over to Wilco.
I'm so sorry to say we can't hear you. We were all signaling and it didn't work.
Sorry, I was all like making eye contact. Sorry about that. Hi, my name is Sarah Babe, and I am not playing Wilco today, or not very much today. But I will be playing Rosie, who is a Philodox urban planner, or civil engineer. And I will go ahead and go to Bennu.
Hi, I'm Banu. I am playing Neri again today. She is in a rune silent stalker, and we're gonna go find one of our own.
And
Let's popcorn over to Jacob.
I'm Jacob, also Bard's Tavern on Instagram and everything else. I will be playing Nemo again as a silent strider Galliard that has just somehow in a couple days made it through the Umbra. So let's go from there.
I mean, you can be in the Umbra for as many as like 6 years and a day simultaneously. It really works differently over there. But welcome back. We're glad to have you here. And everybody, before we jump into these events that happen simultaneously with the events of Night of the Wyrm, the story we've been telling over the last couple of months, we do want to remind you that, as with all World of Darkness stories, the players at the table are mostly wonderful people that I've enjoyed getting to know through this process, but the characters we and they portray can occasionally get up to some hijinks that would be less than fun to either occur to you or hear about happening to others. So we will be potentially describing some sensitive sequences tonight, and we just want to let you know that we still love you, our audience, and we want to make this as comfortable for you just as much as we do each other. That said, let's begin. Welcome back again. Last we saw many of these characters, it was roughly October 24th, and events had kicked off in the city of Portland that pit Garou, or werewolves, and Kindred, vampires, against one another outside of normal rivalries that may exist between the species. For here in the Pacific Northwest, most Kindred are on the run from past lives that didn't treat them too well, and Garou are, well, let's just face it, in the Pacific Northwest, they're in charge. Having co-inhabited the space for a great deal of time without too much conflict, these last nights have brought much blood into the city, most of which is from the vampires. This little pod, however, had been working with one another and other such open-minded vampires and werewolves to some extent to bring an end to the conflict, or at least find out what had gone wrong that pitted these two societies against one another. But this particular cell, largely made up of Garou, the werewolves of the city, and one Kindred, a vampire, has been chasing down a lead. For you see, on October 24th, 2025, Wilco, a delightful Midwestern Garou, was kidnapped by some hunters. And unfortunately, she's not alone. Numerous ghouls, family members, either members directly of Kindred or Garou Society, or other individuals significant to the supernatural society of this city, have been kidnapped. This group, however, is about to find a lead on at least one missing wolf. And that's where we begin. Each of you find yourself on the north end of downtown Portland this evening, October 26th, 2025. After roughly 1 week of conflict between vampires and werewolves that unfortunately the masquerade and the veil has not been able to hide in its entirety, has led to a police state of sorts with additional blockades at a variety of intersections, numerous armed forces representatives from a variety of branches and departments helping to maintain peace for the inexplicable acts that in truth have been wrought not only by werewolves and vampires, but greater spirits and persons possessed by spirits, whether mortal or otherwise. Has been chasing down a lead of a couple of hunters, and over the last 5 or so minutes has successfully taken down, but unfortunately not left alive, approximately 5 such individuals. As you all move probably about a block and a half on foot between alleyways past Revolution Hall, a theater space that's in the north end of the downtown area, you can smell the blood. It's still continuing steadily in a northward pattern, but they're crafty, these hunters. They're masking the scent with some, paint thinner. They're splashing additional blood along walls, especially down the entrances to other alleys and streets. This person in particular evaded you when you took down the rest of the group, and they're doing a relatively good job hiding their trail, but you're pretty sure you're back on it now. As we jump into the sequence, in the same order that we began with previously, so Sam, Sarah, Benu, Jacob, moving down an alleyway towards this theater, please describe your characters. Sam.
So Kiriana is a thief. She's about 5'7" tall. You would call her not fat, but not thin. She hides her physique by wearing jeans and a t-shirt and a black jacket that no one can actually tell if it's leather or denim. They're not quite sure what it is, but it appears to be heavy because she carries firearms and weapons on her, hidden in various places, as well as, oddly enough, in her back pocket, a lockpicking set as well. And she doesn't walk with etiquette like you would see normal vampires walk. She doesn't have that type of grace. She walks with like a swagger. Definitely 100% like she owns the street.
And you don't presently have any points of damage, but you probably have a few scrapes on the outer jacket that you would otherwise not prefer to present. Maybe some scars that haven't necessarily fully healed from damage you've taken in the last couple of days. It's been a strenuous time in Portland while you seek to assist with this investigation as to why the supernatural communities are at war with one another, no one having initially started it outside of those who were possessed. Please, if you will, make 2 hunger checks for me. And we'll get to the results of those hunger checks in just a moment. Sarah, please tell us what Rosie looks like as she too stalks down this alleyway.
Rosie is a young woman, probably like mid-20s, 25-ish, mousy brown straight hair that's currently just in a plain old ponytail, not very sleek or anything like that, just like a ponytail. She's wearing what you would think of as like business casual, just like a button down shirt. It's a little long sleeved because it's in the fall, and wearing like gray khakis as opposed to just like khakis. But she's wearing safety boots as well. She doesn't look real. She's kind of got a little bit of delicate features. Like you look at her and you're just like, why is she not wearing glasses and going, excuse me, about saying like, well, actually, to facts. She's just on her phone, occasionally looking around and going, and then back on her phone. And like, if you looked at her phone, you would see it's got like GIS information up and like different maps that she's flipping between to make sure that they're tracking properly and seeing what kind of infrastructures around the city to see if they could have gone anywhere that they would not immediately see on the surface level.
And in a similar fashion, everything you just described is absolutely the case, with just a little bit more duress, a little bit more wear and tear. And these goddamn licks. who are still not under their own volition are going to war against your wolves in kind. And in a similar fashion, hunters, other werewolves, other goddamn vampires who don't belong in this territory have been stomping down the streets recently. And even though you might get along with them normally, they're causing problems that are bringing an eye to your city, or at least a city within your territory. That's maddening. Similar to what I just asked of Sam, please make 2 rage checks. That's going to be rolling a single rage die. We're looking for interesting values. So keep those in mind. We'll come back to you in just a moment. Benu, what does your character look like tonight?
There's always something a little bit off about her. Most of the time, she does not go full Hamid. She does a lot of time as a wolf and things like that. She is a woman in her early to mid 50s. This slight, almost white hue to her hair, while also still being a very rich color, with what's left of the color. Always wearing something that you would expect someone who is going on a short hike to be wearing, but never really looks like it's ever washed or really cleaned, but also doesn't look dirty. It's an odd sort of combination. But a lot of what Neri does, especially when she is in the city, is being that kind of lookout of both trying to see where people are and where they aren't, because it's where they aren't that's important, especially when you're looking out for ambushes, which is always expected when you're slightly paranoid.
And that's more, you probably feel very vindicated. Have you been running with other wolves in the recent past who maybe call you just a little bit too paranoid? In these modern nights, you feel so validated for your efforts because ambushes unfortunately do lurk around most corners. And on this night in particular, some of those previous hunters that are no longer with us undoubtedly sprung some traps. Funnily enough, I would imagine that since Neri has a baseline, doesn't look like they belong in human society, like look to them in general, you probably look shoveled relative to some of the others in your group at the moment, but you are nevertheless angry at some of the wolf blood that has been spilled on this last week, and as a result, I need you to roll 2 rage dice to reflect your 2 rage rouse checks. And before we come back to any of those values for you 3 who we just spoke with, Jacob, what does Nemo look like tonight? And feel free to expand ever so slightly on how their recent trip into the Umbra might have affected their visage.
So, the last time you guys saw Nemo, he had the oversized, hoodie and everything, way too big in case he ever wolfed out. He could hide underneath it. And with this, you also know of the long brown hair that he had, everything else. But his trip to the Umbra was actually not such a great trip, as we all know. The Umbra can be hectic, and even though in our story it's only been 2 days, for Nemo it's been 2 years. As you guys had encountered Nemo again, you guys see that Nemo's hair, due to fear or whatever else is on the Umbra side, has become white. His cheeks and everything look like they've been sunken in. He's got black circles around his eyes because you don't sleep much in the Umbra. You're always on high alert. And he hasn't gotten back to full society from that transition of 2 years yet. So his clothes are still kind of ripped, tattered, everything else. And underneath in his right hand, underneath one of the big sleeves, is an old Garou skull that he keeps with him now from the Umbra that he used as a weapon.
And to say that Nemo looks crazy is not an exaggeration by any sense of the word. And one thing I don't believe you mentioned that I think is worth bringing up is that Nemo, upon returning to the mortal coil, has not yet had a chance to replace his missing smart device. And after 2 years, it's probably not missed. But walking around the streets, hearing cars and seeing lights again, there's undoubtedly a little bit of an itch to make your way to the nearest, either mobile network mobile provider store, or the nearest Apple store, or whatever device it is that Nemo would need. There's a little bit of that voice calling in the background, but the wolf skull in your hand is grounding you to the current conflict. The Umbra has changed you ever so slightly, but the rage is nevertheless there. I would like you to make your 2 rage rouse checks for me, please, as we check in at the very top of the list. Cassandra, your 2 checks? Sorry, not Cassandra. I'm so used to that from the
I
previous
know,
one.
Kiriana.
Yes, Kiriana.
So she had 1 success and 1 failure.
That, my friend, places you at 2 hunger at the top of the session, as all kindred awake hungry, using the very blood within their veins to come back into their unlife. And you hear, there's plenty of food standing around you right now. Take it, and we can discuss real power in the city. I hear the prince is missing.
Oh my God, you're in my head. Okay, look. All right. So, here's the thing. I was asked to do this thing here. And she talks. So Kiriana, whenever she hears the voices, she sees the person in front of her. Like, she can physically see them. No one else can, but she can see them. This is not the greatest time for us to. This is not. I am definitely hungry, and they seem viable. That being said, listen, we got things to do, right? Maybe I could do something else. I don't know why I'm bargaining with you.
Hold on. No, you should definitely eat your friends, but I'm getting another call. And once again, you guys, if you've been traveling with Kiriana at all, you're used to her occasionally just speaking to the air. It's not the greatest thing to occur on a stealth mission, but the amount of blood you've found so far tells you that even if this person is around the corner, they're not sprinting away. And what you see, Kiriana, is your sire absolutely pulls a phone out of their pocket, and they begin speaking to somebody else, and you're just, no, unfortunately I can't attend to that. I'm actually speaking with somebody else right now. And your sire, unfortunately, is just a little bit too busy to keep daunting you and taunting you to eat your friends.
Yeah. Listen, this doesn't really mesh with what I know about. You having a phone doesn't fit. It's really weird. But anyway, I'm gonna go that way.
And he does this, he covers the mouthpiece, and he goes, but I'm a manifestation of your expectations, and you'll never be on my level. Now hold on. And goes back to that conversation. And it's around that time that he goes ever so slightly translucent. If you walk about 10 feet and turn around, it's always 50-50 if he's still there or not. But you know that you could move on in this moment. And if you get a little bit hungrier, maybe you might have to feed on one of these guys. But that hasn't come just yet. And I keep wanting to say Wilco too, because it's what's on the screen for me. But Rosie, how mad are we tonight?
I rolled an 8 and a 10.
So, not very. You have the baseline anger, or potentially on how you view the world, less than the baseline anger for most female-presenting persons living in the United States, which is 1 out of 5. And that's from my limited perspective. But yes, you, on this night, are in control of the wolf. Or at least as much as a Garou can, for Frenzy is always on the cusp. So,
this is my jam. I'm doing maps. I'm telling people where we should and should not look for things. This is I am seeing things that have been done and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to call this person about this blood everywhere. I'm going to have to call this person, probably the graffiti unit. We're going to have to make sure that nobody did this. And did somebody mess with that fire hydrant? I am on it, and I am having an absolute blast.
At present, you're too busy to get more mad. You are in your element. Yes. And I want to imagine, even though most tribes and most auspices have a patron spirit in addition to the wolf, I'm just going to go ahead and say that, if anything, if you were to look up in that moment, you would see a wolf who themselves has a Bluetooth ear set, somehow attached to the ear in spectral form that only you can see. And it just kind of nods and looks down at its paws, and it's rapidly tapping on a spectral computer. None of that is true, but that's the vibe.
Yeah, 100%.
Neri, how about yourself? Are we more angry than just the one Pip at present?
I mean, when we left off with Neri, she was already at 3, and she just had another failure.
So, upon going to bed, the beast goes to rest, and you two wake up back at 1 each morning or each night,
Okay.
depending on Neri's sleep schedule. So, if you failed one of the two, that places you at 2. Yes,
All
we're
right.
not that close to frenzy at the top of the session, but it's early. Yes. Remind me again of your auspice. I believe you are an Arun.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Tonight is not the full moon, but it feels like it might be. These motherfuckers, they're in your city.
Yeah.
All they gotta do is push you just a little bit harder. Just a little bit goddamn harder. And they're going down. The beast is a little bit closer to being in charge of your actions this night. And finally, Nemo. Eyes potentially twitching, but hands steady on the skull. How angry are we?
Nemo rolled 2 successes, a crit and a regular.
You saw some shit in what was you the last 2 years. Hunting hunters is nothing. You, similarly speaking, as much as a Garou can be, are in control of the beast, at least for now, this night. That does bring the attention back to all 4 of you at the same time, however. The blood trail has not gone cold. It's must. But it's live. Are we proceeding down the alley? Blindly? Quickly? Speculatively?
So Kiriana is almost always hyper aware of her surroundings. She's very hyper vigilant because she's always either casing something, casing a place, casing the person in front of her, looking around. So she doesn't normally plow forward without being very aware of where she's going. But the blood everywhere is a little distracting for her.
I mean, you put it out there. Please make a willpower check. So,
Sure.
I'll go ahead and tell you, because of the obfuscation by way of whether it's like lighter fluid, gasoline, if they're using paint thinner, something is giving cause for it to be not as tempting. Please add 1 additional die
Oof.
to your regular willpower pool.
Okay. Hang on.
Everybody else, not too dissimilar to the wariness exemplified by Kiriana, is undoubtedly Neri, exhibiting the same wariness, checking corners, looking
Oh,
for traps.
absolutely. Listening, watching the roofs, especially. There's always somebody watching,
I think
even
I
if they're in the Umbra.
I think I took that right that gives you the eyes of the owl. So if there's anything to see,
Yeah.
I will see.
And
I will
you,
I will probably just I'm so sorry. I will probably just like casually walk forward following the blood into the alleyway.
and something that everybody sort of senses in the air, besides Cassandra, besides Kiriana, who we're going to get a willpower value from in just a moment, everybody else, you're at this point in the alley where there's silver shavings and whatever he's throwing around. It's a little bit tough to move past that. And although that's not something that the eyes of the owl can necessarily cut through, because that's more of a spectral, supernatural sense, nevertheless, sort of like turning that on, you're able to focus a little bit better. And there are echoes of other supernatural activity happening in this alleyway that on another night you'd be like, that's interesting, we should chase that down perhaps. But you don't see necessarily any traps, any threats, and it helps cut through a little bit of that silver haze. And it looks as though just around the corner to the right, which would turn you onto the next street over, is where the trail goes. And it's getting thicker. More blood is coming out. Cassandra, as more blood is evident, what was that willpower roll?
So that was 2 failures and 4 successes.
You are lucky. Okay. I thought we were going to land on 2 and 1 or something like that, with you beginning with the higher of the 2 numbers. Okay. You're getting to the end of this current alleyway that emerges on the street, and less of the blood is being muddled, and it's very tempting, especially with that additional hunger. But you'll wait that off, and with your combined wariness alongside Nary's verifying that there's no threats. And with Rosie confidently moving towards the end of the alley, you turn, and what appears to be just off the street is a loading dock ramp for I don't know, a grocery chain. Going down, probably a good 30 feet, obviously catching his breath, is that goddamn hunter.
Nary's gonna take to the shadows on the roofs.
I want to do something real quick, if I may. Nemo wants to pop a point of willpower and actually use whispered passage, where all the noises around us, basically, if you stay close to Nemo, everything is basically silenced.
I like that.
How does Rite of Shadow Passage work? Could I like move to right in front of this dude?
Can you read it out loud for us?
I just says Rite of Passage.
Right. It's called Rite of Passage or Rite of Shadow?
Rite of Shadow, I'm sorry.
You're fine. Rite of Shadow, Werewolf. This is a teaching opportunity, everybody.
Rite of Shadow Passage. Here we go.
So, semantically, as we walk up, you just see Nemo kind of stick up one finger and goes, shh, and everything echoes out from him and just quiet.
And Rite of Shadow Passage, for anybody who's curious, this rite allows a pack to open a pathway between the physical world and the Umbra.
Okay.
So, yeah, not to mention, if it's a rite, R-I-T-E, it's usually a ritual that takes a little bit of time, but I like where your head's at. That was very cool. And we're going to see if we can do some cool shit like that. But the sounds of the street utterly fade away. For the four of you in particular, because I assume you're able to pass this along to all allies, not just Garou, Nemo?
Everything around me, yeah.
Okay.
Nary also has whispered passage, so while she's taking to the roof, she takes a little bit of that silent strider with her.
And feel free to take that willpower off to make use of it as well. And with 1 up high and 3 down below, silence reigning around all four of you from your respective sources, you move down this ramp. It's very obvious that he's too wounded to have set any potential traps. You do see his face is lit up. He's very obviously calling or attempting to call someone right this moment.
Oh my gosh, are you okay? Did you get attacked? Do you need help?
Oh, shit. Oh, fucking shit. And you see he drops the phone and scrambles to pick it up. And with his other hand, he reaches into his jacket and he pulls out a weapon and begins loosely leveling it in your direction.
Why are you... I'm just trying to help you, dude. I'm like, what? You look like you're hurt.
Fucking hell, you are. And he pops off a shot. And I'm going to reduce his pool as a result of how injured he is. But, Rosie, referencing your sheet, the only option with reference to being shot at is attempting to dodge. And I would like you to make a dexterity and athletics roll for me, please.
Okay, cool. So dex.
And I'll be forthright. We're so early in the session that for him, with his reduced pool, I'm going to take half, meaning your difficulty is 2. Just 2.
Okay.
And everybody, no matter whether this hit lights off or not, whether you're Garou or Kindred, everybody, in addition to smelling cordite, smells superheated silver. He's firing one of those fucking silver jacketed rounds. And he pops it off loosely in the direction of Rosie.
And just because I forget all the time, we're going 6s and up, correct?
Yes. If you need to...
Do 10s count as 2?
Only if you get 2 pairs of 10s.
Okay, I got 2.
That's perfect. Yeah. Do you think you matrix out of the way, or is he just too woozy to have even gotten close?
I think I see him pull up the shot. I'm like, oh, let me help you with your phone. Like, not even like I don't need to show off to this dude. Like, he's gonna die anyway. Probably. He
does seem to be losing his lifeblood.
Yeah. So I don't need to show off to this dude. I'm trying to be human. So
you say that to him, and the bullet goes wide. It goes completely wide. He never had a chance, and his hand just flies outward with the kick. He is not looking well, and you all see pooled at his feet is quite a lot of blood. And he must have an older phone because now laying in that pool of blood, it shorts and the light goes out, and he's panting and he's looking at each of you and kind of shifting between the three he sees, and he doesn't know there's a fourth above him. Okay, what do you want? Or just make it quick.
Hey, just breathe easy, okay? I'm totally gonna be like, oh, it's okay, buddy, it's okay, buddy, and like we'll be awful to him later. But like, hey, just breathe easy. We do have some questions, but we're not gonna hurt you any more than you are, okay?
And he takes a deep breath, and you see, unfortunately, on the exhale, just he coughs like a blood clot. And he goes,
Ooh.
"Oh God, oh God."
Oh, did we do that?
Not the, did I do that?
Oh, was that our fault? What happened to you?
And whether anybody had shifted into Glabro or had briefly gone into a different form, or if anybody's using weapons, there are obviously signs of damage from said weapons or physical attributes on this person, and he's glaring at you and anybody else who chimed in then. And unfortunately, or, fortunately, because he's a goddamn hunter who's been causing chaos these last few nights in your city, doesn't look like he has much longer to go.
So Kiriana's going to quickly walk over, and she's going to. Is he lying down, or what is he?
He's like bent over and leaning against a wall, and one arm's hanging limp. The other one is like trying to lift the weapon, still in your guys' direction. And at this point, he doesn't seem to have enough strength for that.
So she's going to take the weapon out of his hand, grab him by his lapel, turn him around, and sit him on his butt against the wall. And she's going to get in his face and go, "You don't have much time left. You have very little time. Matter of fact, you're dying, dear. We also need to do the thing. And I am not doing well. So here's the deal. Tell me what I need to know. Like, we need to go find people. I know you know where they are, and probably have information since you're going this way. So tell me what I need to know, and I can end this much quicker for you instead of you suffering."
Go ahead and make either a manipulation or a charisma plus persuasion roll for me, please. And I don't know if this character you put together has any specialties in either area, but
she has streetwise, especially in streetwise, but not in.
What's your streetwise specialty? I think we could make an argument this would be a streetwise situation as well.
Yeah, streetwise. Well, her specialty is fencing. It's like to fence stolen goods. So there's that. So we're gonna do.
I mean, they're stolen people.
True.
That is.
Are you trying to buy? Okay. No, we're not going to use the specialty. So you build your pool. Let's see what happens.
What was it? Manipulation and what?
It'll either be charisma or manipulation, and persuasion or streetwise.
Let's go with streetwise.
As Kiriana builds that pool. Yeah, sorry, you're on the roof. What's up?
As she kind of gets to the word die, Neri is kind of just off to the right of him on the scene, next to the same arm that she took the weapon out of, and is just going to casually step and land next to him in just in a squat. And just be that sudden, like,
that's superhero landing
moment.
Mm-hmm. Or is it a superhero landing, or is it the more casual, like directly into a crouch, like arms on your knees kind of a situation?
Yeah.
It's the stepping off a building and still being like in totally perfect form from Underworld.
Yeah. And the slightly shifted teeth.
It's a not landing.
Leaning me starting to kind of go toward Glabro, where things are starting to turn more white and a little bit more.
As Neri drops down, Kiriana's gonna go, "She's scary, isn't she? She'd probably make it last longer."
You do get one additional die from the assist. Yes. Mm-hmm.
3 8s and a 1.
3 is all you need for a basic success in my games, and as a result, he goes, "Oh God!" And he's looking as much at you as he is like on the downward pant, looking at all the blood in his hand on the ground, and he goes, "Fuck it. There's a warehouse, quarter mile from here. Probably at least 2 of you fuckers in there, if they're still alive.
Which directions? Which direction?
Northeast."
Oh, good job.
Get-
Do you want your family to find you in one piece, or should we like mail your pieces to them?
Oh, I'm gonna drain him.
Oh, okay.
I'm hungry.
Oh, I know exactly where we can hide him.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And he doesn't have anything to say to that as his eyes close, and you see he's definitely slowing down in his breathing. He might have uttered his last words. Nemo, do you think other people can hear the skull, or is it just you?
See the skull?
Hear.
Probably not.
Because you hear in a voice I won't fully emulate because I need to be able to talk for the rest of the session. In a guttural growl. Put a claw or a knife just above the floating rib. Get more specific information. You have a little time. Do you do that?
Nemo, in his things from the Umbra, goes, "I don't think that's quite bad enough." And you see him raise the skull up and then walk forward in between everybody and slam the skull down on top of the guy's head.
Okay.
Like a club.
So instead of potentially gaining additional information, he is dead.
No, I have food.
And Cassandra, you have the shortest window in the world.
Kiriana.
As this happens, Nemo's going to turn around just slightly to pick up the phone, and he's going to utter under his breath, "Drain him fast."
Okay. Cassandra, you...
Rihanna.
Damn it. No. I feel like this should be a drinking game somehow. Like, I'll come up with a penalty in between moments where it's me talking. But I believe that's on in scene 3 utterances of Cassandra instead of Kiriana. I'll find a way to punish myself for that. It's a new game for me. But Kiriana, you have. I will need from you a survival dexterity check because you're either going to be able to actually polish off 2 points or just do the 1. Bearing in mind, of course, that barring a genuine critical failure here, there's really no loss. And Nemo, you picked up a phone. Was there a direct purpose for that? It's shorted out at least partially.
So Nemo picked up the phone because he was going to actually like scan the guy's face to get into it, and then realized I've bashed his face in. Obviously, maybe his thumb will work, and just kind of like walk back over and hand it to somebody. Like, here, see if you can get this to work.
I mean, I would imagine the way you built him, your technology is pretty decent. If you wanted to make a resolve and technology check to try to get it open with the body's assistance. Somebody raised their hand, though. I couldn't tell if it was both Sarah and Benu.
It was definitely me, because technology, you said?
Oh God, yeah, your whole vibe. So Nemo holds this phone out, and you take it. If you want to make that same check, resolve and technology, we can see if it's in its partially damaged state. We're going to go with my standard difficulty pools of 3 and 5. 3 gets you something you might want. 5 is definitely what you want, if not higher.
Okay.
And then it has a 5-year-old flip phone.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Can I support by standing behind and kind of like put my finger up and go, no, you want to click that button over there. No, this thing.
Only if that level of support is accepted from Rosie. I know. While Rosie puts that together, and while we see if we can get any additional information from this phone, you had rolled to see if you could feed fully or not.
Barely made it. 3 6s.
3 6s. Excellent. So 3 does get you, because I didn't necessarily think about the ramifications of my standard 3-5 with reference to this. So I'll go ahead and state that was fast enough for you to top out your hunger. Very rarely does Kiriana feel as much herself as she does as you fully drain the smashed in faced body of this hunter on the ground. That little inkling of a voice, it's always there, but you can drain it out or drown it out by way of whatever it is you're doing, is gone. This is a rarity based on your personal decisions most nights. And while you revel in that, Rosie, how do we do with that roll?
So 2 10s, that would be 4 successes?
That is 4. And?
4, 5, 6, 8.
Okay, so you remember how I mentioned as a result of lying in the pool of blood, the phone had partially shorted out? Rice is old. Rice doesn't really do too much anymore. Not with these modern phones, which are designed to withstand some fluid. Something must have happened. Maybe it got cracked. What you do is you take your emergency phone kit, your emergency tech kit, whatever it is that you have available to you, to speed dry without overheating the device, and you fully replace the screen. You have all of this at your behest because this is what you do. And it takes literally only 1 minute's time using gadgets that you know so well. And as a result, you repower the phone. And yeah, the internal mechanisms that actually give images to the newly replaced screen are a little fuzzy. They're a little jittery. But you're fairly certain that in its unlocked state, because 8 is more than sufficient for that to have been accomplished as well, especially on a crit, you now have an open phone that belonged to a hunter.
I'm just going to look directly into his map program. Because I'm sure he saved an address, because they're not smart.
Easily enough, there does appear to be a space, and it is at 411 Northeast 19th Avenue. And you got to give him some credit. That is only like a quarter mile from here.
Oh, he's really good at directions, and it is northeast.
He actually told the truth.
He actually told the truth. I'm really proud of him. Like that was some solid, whatever he was just doing. Solid dying. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some good directional sense.
Anyway, where are we gonna put him?
Oh, there's a manhole over here. This one will go. This is a storm, I think, right here, and it's big enough because we're close enough to an outfall. Blah blah blah. We'll just put it in here. Nobody's gonna find it.
Where would you say the skull
5
fractured
years?
from where Nemo smacked the skull onto his head?
That's a question for Nemo to answer.
You said how straight on top, so it's kind of
Like, where did the skull fracture?
Right in the
straight,
crown, I
straight in the
assume?
middle. Yeah.
All right. Take a little piece from where the bridge broke, and Neri will pocket it.
Phenomenal.
Amazing.
All right. Now, as you
And then
drag
use
this
specialty
body-
in camouflaging to help.
Are we predatoring, but instead of mud, we're gradually covering ourselves with hunter blood? Hard to say.
Take
Pretty
little
good.
pieces of those that are necessary with you, and you don't know how helpful it's going to be. Plus, the closer to the brain, a little bit more access to some of the knowledge.
Guys,
I
this
like
makes
you.
Neri is dark, guys.
Say that one more time.
Are you recording? No. Nah, you don't have your personal device yet, and you just handed away the one phone you've had access to since getting back. So,
So Kiriana, as everyone's talking and discussing, and she hears Rosie say there's a manhole, she actively is searching, like surreptitiously searching the body for anything else she can find. She can't help it. It's just there's a body here. She's gonna search. She's gonna try to find a wallet, whatever else she can find.
now it's only a 38 special, but that weapon is available to you, assuming Neri doesn't want to hold on to it, but she might, because it is still in the air, the smell of superheated silver. Whether or not she hands it over, however, you might find it prudent to at least pocket a few of the loose rounds because the speed loader was broken open of those silvered 38 shots. He has his
Oh
everyday
yeah, definitely keeping
carry.
the shots.
Oh yeah. And they, they're not fun to touch, but you are mostly Hamid, even if you're not full Hamid at the moment, which means they're not giving you too much trouble.
Yeah.
Assuming you pick
I have
those
a
up.
lot of pockets.
There we go.
So
Kiriana?
Kiriana is
Yep.
going to take a few rounds, but
Mhm.
not enough to like make it seem like she's trying to take all, but definitely
Yeah.
taking some for herself.
You have a handful. Neri has a handful. There's a wallet. There's keys. This person does have a knife that appears to be made of an odd metal that doesn't seem like silver, and it's not obviously fully steel. Of interest as well, and
Iron weaponry.
hard to
You're
say.
right.
You'd have to give it some You'd have to commit some time to investigating it, and they have an emergency, very small med kit hooked to their belts. This person had an iPad that was dropped a ways back, where this skirmish with the initial hunters actually kicked off, and it looks as though they have a variety of loops and holsters for gear that was shed or generally lost in running away from where the initial fight between you and the rest of their compatriots happened. So unfortunately, not much left on them at this time. They ran, shedding as much as they could to go faster, well injured.
Knife will go into a little hidden sheath.
Kiriana was the primary person searching. Before you claim it, Kiriana, is that something that you pocket?
So Kiriana's not. She's going to pocket it because she's not going to make it obvious that she's searching. So when she finds something that she thinks is hers, that she likes, she's going to quietly stick it in one of her hidden pockets.
Duly noted. Okay. Everything else, though, generally up for grabs. You're not being obvious, but it's hard to be secretive when everybody's focusing on, is it ready to be moved yet? The body. And with the body having been searched, the body having been stowed in the nearest storm drain or under a manhole, are we moving straight in the direction of the address provided, or are we trying to do anything else? Because it sounds as though there's little time to be wasted. There might still be living wolves.
Did you just say it sounds like and then sniffed?
I sure did.
Okay.
Yes. Are you not familiar with synesthesia?
No, I am. It just felt very Ghostbusters to me.
Thank you. I actually take that as quite the compliment.
That was amazing. Thank you.
I in moments like these, I like to say, quiet, I can't smell the color red.
Quiet, do you smell that?
Yes.
If anything smells purple.
It's game over. Everybody, please make a wits and awareness check, and we're looking for the sight of smell. No need to do that.
I was like really ready to make a roll.
Same.
If there's purple in the air, you're fucked. No, I digress.
No,
Are we going?
we're looking for something strange in our neighborhood.
Dude.
Completely useless to this session. You can take your Dungeon Master inspiration now. Are we going straight to the warehouse? Okay.
I think being that I'm sorry, I forget her name.
Kiriana?
It's okay. Who are
Rosey.
you trying to remember?
Sarah's character.
Rosey.
Rosey. Okay, I did get it right. Being that she is very much kind of the map person, probably approach and see if there's not like a loop, because we don't want to take too much time, but kind of like a side skirt sort of trajectory.
I want to add, as we're doing this, though, that we did find keys and that maybe we should approach in the vehicle.
We'd have to find a vehicle, though.
You would have to find a vehicle, and you did pursue on foot for quite some time after a fight.
Do the keys have the emergency
clicker?
Boop, boop. Boop, boop. I've lost my car and had to do that so many times. It's not even funny.
You know who has the keys on their person at the moment? It's either going to be Kiriana or Rosey. I mean, not Kiriana or Neri.
Kiriana just kind of like saw the keys and kind of just threw them aside. She didn't really pay attention to those.
So if Nemo or Rosie wanted to pick them up and give this Honda key fob a little beep, we can have the person who picked them up do a preparedness check, and that will be intelligence and drive.
I believe in you, Rosie.
Okay, let's do this. All right. Oh, a Honda. Okay, let's see what this. We can find it. Amazing.
Oh,
It's three.
Three?
Do we need more?
No. Well, yeah. I didn't state, and my standard is 3-5, and it's difficult to compare like general success here versus great success. I really got to state my difficulties if I want to make this more of a challenge. Blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks to the west. This must be a new fob with new batteries for a newer car. Because sure enough, you hear the. It's not trying to be obtrusive. But you do hear that, and then if you do the double tap again, because sometimes you need that beyond locking to actually get it to go, you hear, and I quote, "Huh." Yes. And assuming that he likes this idea, go ahead.
Nemo's gonna grab Rosie by the shoulder. Do it real fast, okay?
Huh.
So
that was the best.
Kiriana's gonna go. Look, guys. Look, it's like it's like really far that way, and we're going the opposite direction the other way. So I feel like it's a waste of time. We should probably get going. Yeah.
But we'll blend in.
Keys, though.
Although I'm saying it, I
let me lock it quick.
We'll blend in, and they won't. It's their own car. They
Yeah, true, but we're wasting time. I think we need to go.
Neri just looks Rosie direct in the eye and just
You're gonna see Nemo kind of like look down.
I'm sorry, Neri. I'll go. Stop it. Let's go.
As he like starts turning globro, and he goes, "You don't think we can't just run there?"
You're the one who told me to do it, Nemo.
Car or no car?
No car.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Even if this phone battery was in the midst of dying, you have a personal device, Rosie, that you'd be able to zero in on this address. So it's not difficult whatsoever to use the walking street view to get the fastest direction to this space. Even if you gave it a head-on approach, obviously from the photos, you're able to see what appears to be an old brick, large, and it's either like a community center or a warehouse. It has a large structure but an unknown purpose. It's next to other utility buildings, but it doesn't have that general appearance, at least from these photos. And sure enough, from half a block away, arriving at 19th, you don't see any obvious signs of people outside, but I'll ask that all four of you please give me wits and awareness, which is the perception check equivalent in the world of darkness.
I'm also going to throw my hood up so that nobody can tell I'm in globro.
Prudent. The weather's relatively clear tonight. There's not really rain. It's cloudy, but you can feel the moon.
So we're running wits and awareness for. Why are we running?
What we want to see, is there anybody on the street? Is there any obvious signs of occupation? Is there something that you should be wary of?
Can I make an argument for streetwise for Kiriana?
Yes. Your difficulty will be higher, and we're looking at 4-6 for Kiriana.
Okay.
And once you have your results, feel free to pop them off.
1,
4.
1, 4. Okay. Now,
Given spending a willpower.
6 successes.
2. Excellent. And 6, you say?
Yeah, 6.
6. Rosie, you are able to see what appears to be, well, there's numerous cars on the street on both sides. It's a two-way street, and you see somebody chilling in a car, probably about 1.5 buildings down on the far end of the street from where you are currently. And they're very obviously in that position where they're leaned very far back in the passenger seat, not even the driver. They don't have a phone on or anything of that nature. This person is obviously attempting to remain unseen. And Kiriana, you sort of like flash your own eyes, making certain that you can see to the best of your ability in the night. And all of you sort of hanging back in your own unobtrusive group, trying not to be spotted for the irregular, standing stock still persons that you are at the moment. You clock that same person in the vehicle. You notice a few people just generally walking down the sidewalks, but they don't seem suspicious. More importantly, however, there's definitely a person up on the roof. Their head popped up just a few moments ago, and they know what they're doing. It took a 6 to see them because they slowly moved up. And you watched as they did the slightest of head movements that they know with the use of their eyes gave them a much greater field of view than would be otherwise warranted, and then very slowly ducked their head back down. This person is decent at stealth, but you have good vision. Otherwise, no obvious scouts on the street, and I assume the two of you shared this information with the others.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I see it, there's a couple ways we could do this. A, blow up the vehicle with the person in it. I've always just wanted to do that. Or one of us could distract him and then blow up the vehicle. Okay, maybe I just really want to blow up the vehicle. But we could distract that person and eliminate them. There's definitely somebody on the roof, like we said. So we could just sneak onto the roof of that building. Because if it's up to code, which it looks like it might be, there should be some sort of roof access on the outside of the building.
Leading credence to that idea, I will state that it is directly adjacent to the other building on the same side of the street, nearest to all of you. And I cut someone off. I apologize.
Technically speaking, we could do both. One distract, and then someone gets behind him and just...
Both is good. I like both.
Who wants me to toss him?
As everyone's talking, Kiriana is looking at exits and windows and literally casing the joint as if she's going to break in and rob it. Does she see any open windows, any quick access? Because that's her specialty. She would look to see like what's the quickest, easiest access for her.
For the record, it does appear to be partially a two-story structure. To use the camera and possibly fade out as a result of my virtual background, it has the two-story main building facade, and then it has the single story directly to the right, but it's still two-story directly to the left. And it's on that left portion where it's two-story, where you do see what appears to be, because again, high difficulty 5, you got a 6, a broken window. It is a 4-pane structure, and only one of the panes is broken, but you know how to work with that.
She's gonna go to the rest of the party. You guys have some cool ideas, sweet ideas, but those are loud. And loud usually gets people killed too soon.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, we need to go that way.
It's also worth noting, because of the 6, you don't see any lights on the first level of the building, but through that window, which is lightly obfuscated by trees, not so much that with the right angle you couldn't see it, you do see lights. If they're trying to hide inside, it is still nevertheless abandoned seeming yet powered building.
Do we... Oh, you know what? If we cut the power, there might be old... what's the things that go woo woo? Alarms. There we go.
You're the tech expert.
Click, click.
Tech expert. Technical terms. Go to school, kids. there could be old alarms that are still hooked up in that building, especially if it's like a not well used building. So even if we go into like a window that's granted, this is a little bit of meta, that's broken, like Kiriana, rats. Okay, like Kiriana said, that could still possibly trick a rudimentary motion sensor.
Yeah, I mean, true. The building's kind of old, so it'd probably be one of those weird tape sensors. So yeah, we could totally cut the power. The power is probably on the outside. I have no problem doing that, but just don't blow anything up
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
Wait till we
And-
get.
And are we
Yeah.
splitting up with a ground crew to take on the person with a car, or are we going to ignore them in favor of the roof/upper window? And are we going as a group, or are we splitting up at all?
I think
I'm-
you shoot the person in the car though with a silencer.
Even with a silencer, it's not quiet.
It's not quiet, but it's not loud.
Some noise, but you can potentially time it with a car going by or something of that nature. Yes, if you're appropriately streetwise, you can certainly try for that. Now, for anybody who thinks their character might have a weapon that has a silencer, and I did hear Technicolor Dreamcoat, but instead it's full of weapons described at the top of the session. Not Cassandra Kiriana, you can absolutely make a preparedness check, and that would be intelligence plus firearms. And I'll go ahead and state that it's just a standard difficulty of 5 to be able to have your silencer for this event. Because it's been war in the streets for the better part of a week. You might no longer have one that you had previously.
Are there people? So you said that there were some people that were still around that weren't these two?
Yeah, Portland's weird.
Portland's weird.
What appears to be just regular passersby move about every couple of minutes, not a steady stream.
Can I make an argument for subterfuge because she's trying to?
I have another argument because
First of all, no. Yeah, but what's up, Jacob?
no.
No to Kiriana, but what's
Okay.
Nemo?
Are we still like silenced from?
Your power lasts for the duration of a scene, and that has passed. So you're not silenced at the moment.
Okay.
What I'm wondering, and I know
Um,
some cities do, especially in the warehouse district, is if there are publicly available blueprints.
Most likely, if you want to go to a municipal building. By the way, Neri, you do gain 1 willpower back from stealing a fragment of skull. That was very Neri coded. The storyteller knows that was on brand. So you did earn 1 willpower back in the act.
Alrighty.
So Cassandra got.
Okay, yeah, you 100% have a silencer. It won't work on a cylindered weapon, but I assume you're carrying a semi-automatic or something.
Of course she is. Why wouldn't she? She's also has a specialty in firearms. So
Boats.
so she's going to where is the car facing? Like, relative to where the party is, where's the car facing?
To have been able to see them in the way that I described, it's on the same side of the street as the building, and probably about a good 150 to 200 feet down further than the main entrance you've been observing. So it's with your supernatural eyes that you were all able to make that keen observation of them, but they are much further away than you at present.
Okay. Cassandra. See, now you got me doing it.
You ticked me from 4 down to 3. Thank you for that.
You
And I do have a
gotta-
weapon.
See, I got that one song that's like Mariana, like in my
Yeah.
head, and I'm like, that's how I remember your name because it's like Kiriana,
Kiriana.
and I'm like, I got it.
Well,
That's
the
name.
way she's named is from Kyrie Elysium, from the song. So
I
that's what.
want to help you with this.
Yes.
So as we're doing stuff, Nemo wants to in Glabro walk kind of down past the car and back the other way to where the door is, and then basically like knock on the window.
So we could do that, or Kiriana is going to do what she has done before, because she's done this before, from several assignments she's had from Primogens as well, where everyone watches her zip up her jacket. She kind of like rolls her shoulders a little bit. She sticks her hands in her pockets, and then oddly enough, all of a sudden it seems like she's not with you anymore. She's completely separate from you, and she just walks off toward the car as if she's just a regular person walking down the street. And I don't know if the party watches it. As you watch her approach the car, she just has her hands in her pocket. And as she literally walks by, her hand comes out. She points, shoots, and keeps walking.
So sometimes when a storyteller offers flavor, it is for free. And I think that Kiriana, under other circumstances, would use Blush of Life to be able to heat her breath. That way, walking down the street, if that person saw her at all, you would release a plume of breath. That doesn't mean you're not a changeling or a Garou, but this person will at least not be put off at the notion that somebody walking down the street in Portland in October doesn't have breath steaming out. And no need for a hunger check if you like this idea because you're good at what you do. You walk down the street, you're bunched up, hands in your pockets the same way that anybody on a cold evening such as this one would do, and you make a defensive roll as that hunter did previously. Or no, I guess, anyway, you only defend what you know is coming at you, and this person is not defending. As a result, I would like you to make a dexterity and firearms check. What is your specialty in firearms?
Sniper.
That is not happening, so you don't get the extra die. But you get your dexterity and firearms, knowing full well that there is no defensive pool to counteract the action. And everybody, plan of action was suggested. Kiriana said, but what if I, and then just went for it. Are we calmly watching, or are we attempting to contribute? You've all, in fiction, worked with her at least somewhat prior to the events of this session, and you know, she's probably she's got this on lock, but anybody trying to help?
Yes, I'd like to take the Honda key fob that I have and a little scanner majiggy that I have. I forget what exactly it's called, but it gets the different like frequencies of different key fobs and stuff like that. And I'd like to program it to the nearest Honda and set off the alarm right as I see Kiriana go up. So there's things
to help with the silencer.
Yes.
This, do you have a specialty in technology by any chance?
Yes.
What
I
is
don't think it is specifically that. I think it's actually like infrastructure technology or like environmental engineering, but it's not really that, unfortunately.
That is totally fine. Please give me, and I'll let you choose either wit or intelligence plus technology to be able to reprogram, because you see what she's planning and you got to act fast. You can get this done if you had all the time in the world, but can you get it done quickly enough? And this is difficult to the point where I'll give it just a standard 5.
Neri, you want to take the roof?
8.
Okay, cool, sick. All right.
Okay, cool, sick.
Now, Cassandra, you rolled up. You
God,
rolled
Kiriana.
firearms and dexterity. Damn it, that's 4 again. Okay.
I feel like being that she takes off a lot, as soon as she takes off, Neri hits the roof.
Excellent.
It's like, okay,
Please
she's
give
moving,
me-
I'm going.
Please give me dexterity and stealth. You're gonna climb it. There's no challenging that. But do you do so unseen? Kiriana, not Cassandra. What was your roll for firearms?
2 8s, a 7, a 9, and a 4.
That'll do it.
Also-
This is yes.
Also, for purposes of story and everything, and just for people that know, Neri, are you adding your extra dice because we're silent striders?
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
You get an
if you wanna
extra
be
one to
allied in that
traverse.
respect.
Traverse.
Mhm. Traversal is auto. We're going just for stealth here, but
That's for that.
yes.
Okay.
And Nemo, are you taking to the roof alongside them, or what are you doing?
I'm just gonna wait by the front door.
So you
They-
cruise over to the front
They
door.
all look like they got everything else under control. I'll just wait.
Phenomenal. So you're meandering in that direction, in a manner of speaking, following in Kiriana's footsteps. And at the appropriate time, Rosie, you're staring, knowing full well that even without looking at it, your hands are reprogramming this fob. And You hold it up. You know that it's a double tap sequence. And Kiriana's walking down the street, lets out a plume of breath. Look how alive I am. And as you pass the car at the right angle, just out from under the jacket. What was this? This is a different car, so.
Wah, wah, woo, woo. Yeah.
Going full alarm.
Yeah, full alarm.
Rosie, you've committed the full alarm, and as a result, you see that head slowly pop back up from the top of the roof, and that person does their slow 180 scan, and they zoom in on the car. I have to make a roll.
Ooh.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, is he distracted for Neri to gank him?
Maybe.
Mary, what was that stealth roll I just asked you to roll? Or what were the results of that dex stealth roll I just asked you to make?
Spending a willpower was 4 successes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to spend Whispered Passage, so we're just going to stick with the 4 successes.
Okay. With 6, this person makes a linear scan, and the bullet was timed perfectly with the alarm in such a fashion that no muzzle fire is observed. And Kiriana, you weren't necessarily counting on the alarm. You know it masked the sound of the weapon, but you keep moving, knowing full well that some attention might be on the street. So you keep walking in an unobtrusive manner, and 2 things happen at the same time. This person sort of like looks up, and they just barely catch a sense of Nemo moving towards the front entrance. And as this person kind of moves up, it's no longer just their head peeking up over the top. They shift, and that's just enough for them to see as Neri pops up to the edge of the roof. And Neri, this person's head whips directly in your direction, and she goes, "Ah, shit!" And you see her reaching for what looks like a walkie and a weapon. One hand for one hand
Rapid
for the
shift, bum rush.
Okay. Now, raise your hand if you have a werewolf gift that gives you incredible speed, or if you're a vampire with celerity. How many points in celerity does Kiriana have? You won't be able to sufficiently aid. We're going to do a brief scene that's just Neri and a standard-ass human. Neri. I'm going to state my intent. You're going to state your intent. And then I'm going to have you and I both make just a straight dexterity roll to see who acts first. So my intent as the hunter is to simultaneously tap that button on the side of the walkie-talkie that makes all other walkie-talkies in range kind of go beep, 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 like sort of like the car alarm equivalent for a walkie, while simultaneously picking up a weapon and obviously attempting to shoot you. What is your intent?
I'm going after the walkie.
Going for the walkie. Okay. And I have a pool of 4 dice. It's not many. What's your pool for dexterity?
Dexterity by itself is 3 dice.
Okay. We are doing a good old-fashioned roll-off to see who goes first. Now, well, I guess things are happening at the same time, but it seems more dramatic if one of us goes first. So, go ahead and roll.
Come on, dice. Let's go. Oh, God.
Ooh, we're okay.
I got no
now,
successes.
Did you have any bestial failures on those, or are they just zeros, blanks?
2 2s and a 4.
Darn for me, good for you. So, this person, unfortunately, tap, tap, squawk, no difficulty, that occurs. You hear their own mic sort of trill a couple of times, not mic, walkie, trill a couple of times in such a fashion that you're aware that all other localized walkies have now trilled in that fashion. They are now going to fire a weapon. The walkie thing was the real thing at risk here. You're going to be able to attack at the walkie or redirect your attack now that you've heard it. At the same time that this person is going to attempt to shoot you. But are you also going to attempt to dodge, or do you want to lean fully into your attack or attempt to grab?
Considering the 0 successes, I feel like Neri would know quickly enough that she wasn't going to make it to the walkie to redirect to just absolutely take this guy out.
Sounds great. All right.
Use
So
Umbral Shift to just go immediately from Hamid to Krynos.
excellent. And that's a gift, correct?
Yep. Without
Okay.
having to spend a rage or a willpower.
No rage. No rage checks. That sounds good. Okay. So you go into your full form, and as I build a pool to shoot at you, because that's what she's got prepared, can you describe for everybody what your Krynos looks like?
You see as that little bit of that white haze that you see sort of coming off of Neri's hair normally goes just this full bright white, like the white of the snow in the Arctic Circle, and her eyes flash the brightest fluorescent blue as just the features similar to that of the Tibetan wolf pull forward, and she just leans into it, showing the rage through her eyes, and is just flinging herself through the air like a bullet.
And funnily enough, a bullet is coming right back. I would like you to make 2 dice pools for me, please. One is going to be strength and brawl, and the other one is going to be dodge. No, it's a dodge roll, so it's going to be dexterity and athletics.
Okay.
Let's get the dexterity athletics first, if you don't mind, and then let's get strength and brawl.
Right.
So, everyone, down on the street, people who are aware of what was happening are pretty impressed, but potentially not surprised at how effective Kiriana's maneuver was. She pulled off the shot. The car alarm was perfect. It drowned out the noise of the bullet. She kept moving. Rosie, I believe you didn't really move. You're still back in that vicinity. And Nemo, you're waiting outside, out front. Is that correct? Okay. And then you hear a woman shout from the roof. And a gunshot is going to go off that's not masked by an alarm, nor is it silenced. Neri, what was your dexterity and athletics roll?
2 successes.
2 successes. That means you are going to take only 3 points of aggravated silver damage. But in just a moment, in your Krynos form, no, it's silver. You won't be able to heal yet. But you take 3 points of aggravated damage as the bullet lands center mass just below your own ribs. Call back from earlier. But you're a flying missile of meat and claws. This individual is also going to attempt to dodge, and I'm just going to go ahead and take half of what her pool would be, and that's a 4. What was your strength and brawl? Now, I do believe that in your current form, you get to add additional die since you're in Krynos, in case you didn't add those additional dice.
With a 10 dice pool, that's 8 successes.
So, that's 6 over my 4, and this person doesn't have that many health points. A squawk occurs. Everybody hears, possibly using their supernatural hearing, a variety of touch points either from the car with a no longer living person in it, or additional points of sound within the building go off in sequence with a gunshot occurring maybe half a second later on the rooftop. But Neri, what happens to this person that nobody sees but you?
One hand kind of goes from navel up through the rib cage, just to the clavicle, where the claw gets stuck a little bit, and the other is just kind of reaching back across the head and wrenching while clawing through the back of the skull.
Christ. Okay.
She not when she goes, she goes.
She goes fully off, and you feel burning in your abdomen, by the way. This has nothing to do with your anger. You feel the bane tearing its way through sinew and muscle, but it didn't slow you down. You ripped into this woman's head for the audacity to attack you with silver, and she'll never have a chance to make that mistake again. Her blood is now similar to the person before, pooling at her feet and yours as her body slides off of your claws and to the rooftop. But one thing is for certain, even you from the roof are able to notice the floodlights that turn on the exterior of the building, covering the front entrance, and you hear a few tick on that would clearly be covering the back. And Kiriana, turning around in response to that noise, but maintaining your cool, you unfortunately bear witness to what appears to be UV lights turning on the first floor inside the building. They wouldn't necessarily kill you outright. They're not going to be fun if you have to try to go in and they're still turned on. And now, out of the quick flash of movement to get to the roof and the immediate attack, Nemo, Neri, doesn't take a roll for you to smell that goddamn smell. Stolen moons. Somebody's wearing a wolf pelt in this goddamn building. And on that note, we're going to go to break.
Of course.
Yep.
Of course.
Ah,
Cool.
you're terrible, Sam.
Oh,
Hooray!
so rude.
Sam.
Welcome back from the break. We're not going to waste any time. Nemo, Neri, please make rage rouse checks. Wilco, please make wits insight.
Okay, actually, Wilco.
Actually, Wilco. Not Wilco, damn it. Nope. Okay, I'm looking at the screen. Rosie.
Sorry,
No, you're fine. Thank you for clarifying.
no, I was making sure. You said wits insight.
Wits insight. And Kiriana, please make a willpower check. Your dice. As our
Willpower.
Go ahead.
Willpower adds 3.
Willpower, you could re-roll 3 dice that were not
Okay.
from your rage pool. Up to 3. Mhm. By the way, Rosie, if you had spent any willpower so far in the session, your quick thinking with tech would have netted you 1 willpower back.
Okay.
5 successes. Okay. For the rage checks,
Failure. Wouldn't be
One
near
suc-
if it wasn't a
one
failure.
success, one failure.
now remember, you're only rolling the 1 die, Jacob.
Oh, then I just
Ye-
got teeth.
Please give me a new roll. Because I'm not going to let you choose the success or the failure. Yeah.
Success.
Success. All right. Nemo standing outside the building hears the sound, and it's almost as if with the power of the UV light turning on, the interior of the building superheats to the degree that supernatural creatures would be able to gain additional senses from the slightest increase in heat, which is what brings that scent of the broken moon to your nose. In Krynos form, however, the senses are already tuned to be the most effective hunting machine's senses possible. Once the immediate conflict had ended, it didn't matter if those lights turned on, stayed off, if the doors were open or closed. Neri would have smelled a stolen moon. As we ascend to 3 in rage, now I need you to make a willpower check. The difficulty is your current rage level, 3. And Kiriana, I asked you to make willpower. Your difficulty at present is your hunger level plus 1, which is 1. Yes. And how'd you do?
2 1s and 3 10s.
You're so lucky. Okay. Thank you for continuously bringing up the dramatic part before the successes, because that makes it more interesting, at least for a moment for me. You feel an urge to run. Maybe it's something that you encountered in your past. Maybe it's stories you've heard before. If the obvious traps they're willing to show are the UV lights throughout the first floor, what the hell else might they be hiding? This is insane. You're going to help these werewolves? You cut those voices off. Some of them might have been your own. Others might have been that asshole. But you ignore it. You're not going to let this situation take away any opportunities for boons you might gain by continuing to assist these werewolves in their plight. You are not afraid. You are not running. And now, back to Neri. Neri, how'd you do?
I got 2 9s,
Okay.
a 5, and a 1.
Hold on. Wait. 1, 2. Give me a sec. These are different. And this one's smaller. Neri. I'm sorry, I actually have to. Benu. Do you trust yourself to ride the wave? AKA, if I give you a suggestion, will you go with it? Or do you need me to take over for a moment? Maybe you need to hear the suggestion first.
Let's hear the suggestion first.
That stolen moon needs to go now. And the fastest way to where you smell it is through the goddamn roof. Fuck whatever's waiting for you inside. You're going straight down.
I certainly have the strength for it.
Mm-hmm. All right, far be it
Let's
from me
go.
to take you out of the scene, my friend. I need you to elicit a strength brawl check on the very roof itself. Your claws, your teeth, they do aggravated damage. Your difficulty to get through is 3. If you want to go faster, I need a 6 or higher. Basically, for the duration of 2 what would be D&D combat turns, you could be ripping through the roof, or you could do it in 1. Let's see how well that goes. Everybody,
Would
hear.
you allow me? Yeah. Would you allow me to roll wits and wisdom to add wind claws to my roll,
Absolutely.
which allows me to ignore armor?
This is called riding the wave. All I need then is a base difficulty of 3, my friends, and you will get through nearly instantaneously. Wind claws are rad as hell, everybody. It's what Aang wanted to do with the sword hilt when they were in the weapons shop in the Fire Nation, wearing too much armor, but werewolf
Come on,
claws.
let's go.
Okay.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel. Now, everybody
Secret tunnel.
everybody from your respective positions out on the street, and I'll get back to you in just a moment, Rosie, because I asked for an insight check as well. Everybody with your respective positions, a moment ago you feared that you had completely lost stealth. A fear that was confirmed by way of lights turning on all throughout the exterior and interior of the building. If there was any potential recourse for persons who could be coming for potential backup purposes, or individuals inside who you hadn't yet caught on to these obvious alarm signals, a roar louder than anything elicited this night is echoed as you hear genuine masonry being shredded, not by claws, but by energy itself. And how'd you do on that roll, Neri?
3 successes.
Yeah, I told you needed a 3. That's perfect. You slice in one direction with one hand, and you slice in another with with the other. And standing over that cross that you have formed in the ceiling, you're heavy enough in your Krynos form, standing 1.5 times your normal size, to literally fall through at the behest of your cuts. You're in the main portion of the building up here. You land on the interior, already having been lit before the alarms go off, 2nd story, and sure enough, 2 motherfuckers have just entered the space as you fall through. They look terrified, but prepared as they level weapons in your direction. We're going to come back to that sequence in just a moment. Out on the street, Rosie, you had rolled an insight check.
Correct.
How'd that go?
It 5, I think. It was 5. Yeah, it's 5.
5? Excellent. I need you now to make a rage check, because even prior to the roar on the roof, you knew full well that from body postures and immediate changes in scent, because even in your Hamid form, you have a powerful sense of smell. You felt that rage from your companions, and you knew all of a sudden it's something that you felt rage about as well. So please make a rage check for me. That's just the 1 die.
4 is not a good number, is
It's
it?
not a good number. Your rage
Okay.
increases by 1, and you will also need to make a willpower check. And what is your current level of difficulty? Or what's your current level of rage?
I think my current level of rage was 2. Yeah.
2. If we just increase by 1, it's 2, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. So roll your sum total of willpower that you have currently. And
Okay.
if you took the one I gifted back, that would have been potentially spent by what you had just done. I can't remember. Anyways, go ahead and roll
Yeah.
that for me. Kiriana and Nemo, neither of you are giving in to your baser instincts at the moment, and you hear the thud as Neri falls through the roof and shouting from within the building, what are you gonna do?
Kiriana, seeing the UV lights, is not going to approach the 1st floor. The
Mhm.
opposite building is still dark, right?
Yes.
So Kiriana's going to scope out that opposite building to see where she can climb up.
Yeah, go ahead.
She's going to see where she can climb up, and probably she's going to go to the roof of this opposite building.
So the building directly adjacent to it, without having to run much further down the street, has a less old school classic facade. It's like more modern architecture with large glass windows, but you can definitely shimmy up without too much issue. You're not in a crazy heightened state or form at the moment. Please give me athletics and whatever you feel to be the relevant physical stat you'd like to apply. Nemo, what about you?
Nemo is going to use Howl of Assembly.
Mhm.
So
And please tell me what that means.
I will. It costs 1 rage, and basically all Garou within a 100-foot radius are called to my location.
Oh,
Do they save if they don't want to do that?
I think it just lets them
Oh.
know, like it's a loud call for help.
Duly noted.
It doesn't really say anything about whether they do or they don't.
What's it called again?
Howl of Assembly.
And while I look this up really quick, because during a frenzy, I would have to imagine somebody's going to say, cool, I'll get to that. But I do want to see if there's a means by which you can potentially force their hand. And while I look it up, not Cassandra, Kiriana, you were going to scale the building. We're going to see how effective this is. You are muted, I believe.
Of course I'm muted. I use athletics and dexterity. Why can't you read my mouth? Athletics and dexterity, and have 3 successes.
3 successes is all you needed to get up there without any complications. You possibly would have caused a sound that would have alerted people to you had that not already happened, but it didn't because that already happened. So using your vampiric ability to traverse stuff quickly, I don't need to be fancy with my words, you get on up there and there's no obvious means of entering the building you're standing on, but I have good news. That wasn't your plan. You're now on the roof directly adjacent to the building that does physically touch the one you want to get into. This space over here is still 2-story. There's a brief little dip between the centralized portion and where you are currently, but both are 2-story, and if you can find a way to get in, you see what appears to be some vents, you see ducts. Those are different things. They are different things. You could probably muscle your way through something like that, or if you have a reasonable means to explain doing so, you could also break through, or you could follow through the hole that Neri just made.
I was just about to ask, the hole that Neri made, where does it go down to where the UV lights are coming? Is UV light coming through that hole?
If you were to your reasonable assumption is that no, because as far as you can see, the UV is only on the first floor, but you don't know until you look through the hole if Neri made her way through to the first floor or not.
Okay. So Kiriana is going to jump over to the building in question, and she's going to, as she's walking over, she doesn't rush because what's the point in running? There's no one up here. So she kind of walks over to the hole and like looks over, and in her right hand is the weapon that she used to kill the hunter in the car. She still has it out, and she looks down to see what she sees down there.
We're going to get to that in just a moment. We're going to get back to the other 2 actions. Rosie.
Yes?
I think I asked something of you, and I can't remember what, because there's a lot happening.
I don't remember either.
Hell yeah. Okay.
No, I do. I'm lying. I'm so sorry.
Don't lie. What was it?
It was a rage check.
That's what I thought. Thank you for your honesty. I won't reward you right this moment because we need the drama, but you can get a reward for that later. What was your rage result? Oh.
0, none, 9, nothing.
Somewhere in the back of your mind, you also reflect on the notion that, okay, we have a vampire with us. UV is not going to do them any good. Maybe I had a good idea earlier about trying to find a way to turn off the power. There might be a box on the exterior of the building or up on the roof because it looks like the buildings touch one another and it would be kind of a hassle to go around to the back. Those thoughts are the part of the mind that are not shifting in the Krynos form at the moment, as you two are frenzying.
Do I just go for a power pole?
A what now?
I think I just go for the nearest power pole that has a transformer on it.
You would generally feel that's a really good idea, but at the moment, you need to find the source of the communal rage. For you see, you have gone into a frenzy.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
unfortunately failed a frenzy roll. And in your full, what does your Krynos look like? We got a description from Neri, but what does it look like when Rosie beasts out?
God, what does a nerdy werewolf look like?
Oz from Buffy.
Oh, I love Oz from Buffy. Okay, I think Rosie's Krynos form is definitely more like domestic dog than it is werewolf. Like floppy ears, probably like a Bernese mountain dog, but like scary. I just kind of feel like, yeah, so like a Bernese mountain dog werewolf.
I like it. And considering that a little bit cuter image, I'm imagining like a prop you would buy it from Spirit Halloween store, kind of a werewolf where like it has the teeth and it has the claws, but it looks a little cheesy because it has like wavier fur than you would imagine.
Like, am I supposed to be scared of this? It's obviously just a werewolf mask. Like, yeah.
And people question whether or not they should be scared as you do Kool-Aid Man into the building. Because UV light's not going to do shit to you.
Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck. It's gonna give me
Now,
sunburn, maybe.
in your theory, do you think you'd waste time with a door, or are you going to go for the most adjacent window to where you would have been a little bit down the street?
I would have just gone straight line.
Excellent. I think, you know what, I'm actually going to retract the question. To keep everybody relatively close to each other, we're going to have you go through the main entrance, but you're not going to open the door. Well, you're going to open the door, but not using your hands. Well, you might use your claws, but you're not going to turn any knobs. I think you're getting what I'm putting down.
I'm going to push the door,
I'll
even though
open
it may
the
be a
door.
pull.
So, actually, kind of like that idea. We were about to get to a little bit of a classic joke of two werewolves enter a building, none of them use the door, sort of a situation. But yes, Nemo, do you do that?
While I'm going to do the howl, I'm going to grab the... Seeing as this other Crino is like, oh, here we go. I'm going to be like, oh, shit. And just grab the door.
Now, hear me out. Do you currently have any missing values in willpower, Rosie?
Yes. I am down 1.
I have good news. You're still frenzied, but Howl of Assembly, you heal a willpower point of other Garou who join in the presence of the user. And you did that for a few seconds. You're not going to stay there, but you followed the requirements. Yeah, it doesn't call people to you. But what it does is it gives people an incentive when they're not frenzied to come to you to regain willpower. So she does rush right past you into the building. And Nemo, from your current position, looking inward as well, you see at the end of the hall what appears to be a few people positioned. And they're half out of door frames. There's a kicked over table at the end of the hall. This is obviously an abandoned service center. It's not the most clear because any signs that would have been inside are torn down. There's a confusing mural of a swimming woman up above the initial door you just gone through, but it doesn't look like it's a pool or anything of that nature. But it's definitely a derelict building that hasn't been in use for some time. There's a lot of potential points of cover. All of that occurs to you as bullets begin flying down the hall. And not unlike Neri, Rosie enters the building knowing full well that she needs to find the source of that scent, which now fills her nostrils, fills her rage. Somebody has gutted and stripped a wolf of their fur. They're donning it like a pretender to the moon. And now, let's get back to the action where Kiriana was on the roof trying to see what it was that Neri was up to. Neri, these two individuals bust in, and they have shotguns in their hands. Shotguns? Really? What's your plan here?
I feel like... Honestly, probably go full speeding wolf, kind of go down on the haunches and then just spring.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Kind of trying to go through them through the door.
So you don't want to address them directly. You're looking for the source
as
of
I'm
the
going,
smell.
going between them and then pulling both of them sort of along the way.
Okay. So if you want to drag them with you, or are you just trying to attack them as you run by?
Yeah.
The latter.
The latter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in combat, as opposed to making two different rolls, you're going to make a single roll, remembering any bonuses you get from your Krynos form. And the value of successes that you receive is going to be split between the two persons if you want this to affect both of them. So let's say you roll 7 successes, you'll have a pool of 7 total to address the two of them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Excellent. And not unlike what happened up on the roof, I'm going to need you also to make a dodge roll, which would be your dexterity and athletics, because both of them are going to attempt to shoot you. And just like your attack, both of their attacks are going to hit your 1 defensive pool. So please be advised, that's what's happening going forward. And we haven't yet exited the scenario or slowed down enough where you would have healed from your previous damage.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. So,
Go ahead.
let's I think we'll redirect, try to do as much as I can to the person on the right, and then pull past through the door.
Okay. And they're both going to attempt to not be hit by you, not unlike you attempting to dodge their weapons. And
Yeah.
Kiriana, what you see is arms outstretched and roaring in their direction as she leans down and then begins picking up speed in their direction. The werewolf is gunning it towards these two hunters who level long arms and attempt to fire in the general vicinity of the werewolf. And they appear to be scared but prepared. Are you going to try to assist the situation?
So Kiriana, as she's looking down, she's holding the gun in her right hand, and she's unscrewing the silencer, and she's kind of like, she's kind of fast. And then she's going to, once the silencer is unscrewed, she's going to turn and fire point as like with precision and aim at both of them.
Back up like 2 feet. Okay, like 1.5 foot further.
Yeah.
Okay, I think now we can make a slight argument for sniping since you
Yes.
backed up a foot or two. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Now, in a similar fashion, if you feel confident enough in your abilities, you can make a declaration now to try to split these shots between the two. Or if you want to focus fire, not unlike Neri, going for the one on the right, you can declare now that you want this to go for one.
What she's going to do is she's going to point with one firearm. She's going to reach into her jacket and pull out a second firearm and point it at the other one. So
what's really cool is that just changes what it looks like mechanically, but it's still the one roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So it will be what?
That'll be dexterity and firearms plus your single die for sniping.
Got it.
All right. Now, down on the ground, because we're in a funky liminal space of combat, and everybody, it does get wonky in the world of darkness once a fight breaks out. On the bottom level, Nemo, are you trying to be in this fight that is obviously kicking off as Rosie begins sprinting down the hall so that she can eviscerate those 3 hunters?
Yeah. I think as I'm kind of like watching Rosie, as Rosie's kind of going down, I'm kind of like prepared for whatever she kind of bulldozes through. I'm cleaning up.
Okay. So you're just following in her wake and you're not shifting.
No, I'll just stay in Globro.
Okay. And you do hear the skull. The skull is calling out to you, "Stop the pretender. Bring an end." The skull is just as aware of the situation as the 3 of you are. Well, let's make it 4. It doesn't take too much for Kiriana to suspect, oh, damn, they mad.
The skull has a point.
Something must be really offensive in there. Yeah, okay.
There's only one.
Can Rosie
reason
hear
why
the
we would
skull
get
now?
This upset.
Nope. Wouldn't that be something?
Okay, I was like, what?
Hold on.
I was like, what? That would be...
Frenzy. I like the idea. Listen, everybody, I don't know if you could tell, I made up the whole the skull can talk shit because it was just a random thing that came from the Umbra. What? But
Yeah.
let's fuck it, we ball. Rosie, you can hear those words and they're egging you on, which means I'm gonna give you 1 extra die as in your frenzied state. You're gonna tear down the hall and you're gonna rip apart all 3 of them, or at least
Rip and tear.
Yup. So if you have any gifts, like your werewolf superpowers that you want to try to lend into the situation, please try to advance your ability to do so, because in your frenzied state, I'm going to direct the action, attack all 3. And as I just explained to our good friend Banu, that's going to be a single roll, split between the 3. So if you have anything on top of the help from Nemo's skull to bolster how many die you roll or how effective that will be, please look that up. We're going to turn, as you consider those options and build your pool, strength and brawl plus whatever else you can rationalize, we're going to go back upstairs. Now, Banu, or I'm sorry, Neri, as I've been addressing everybody previously. I think I'm trying to escape accidentally calling Sam Cassandra again, and that's not counting. I'm at 5 at the moment, and there is going to be a consequence to me for that.
Whoa. You got to subtract 2 because you got 2 of them right.
No, I've already done the add subtract. I'm back up to 5. I believe I didn't call this out initially, but I'm counting my Wilco instead of Rosie call out in that now. I'm adding challenge to myself. Notice I haven't called you Wonka. I'm very aware that you're Nemo tonight because it says it right fucking there. But everybody, I'm getting too excited. Focusing back in on the action. Neri, you made an attack. We're focusing fire on the one on the right. They rolled to dodge because I didn't want to take half, and ya boy only got 3. I assume you did much better.
Well, we can start with 4 successes and add a crit.
Now, did you get 2 criticals?
I got 2 10s.
Yeah, 2 10s. And can
Which
you
is
count up?
1 crit.
So 1 crit. Can I hear
And
the
4
other values?
successes.
And 4 successes plus 1 crit makes 8. Okay. Before we resolve that, we're going to do it very similar to how we just described what happened upstairs. Please, if you will, tell me what the result of your dodge roll was.
That's right.
Because these guys, I don't know if you get the notion that hunters realize they're up against actual like beasts. They mostly just shoot stuff, and they're good at that. So you have a pool of 9 to fight back against. What was your dodge?
I got 4 successes, which is pretty good.
That is
I
pretty
only
good.
got 5.
Now, what is your maximum health pool?
Total is 6.
And you've taken how many so far?
3.
That's what I thought. So, two things. Yep. Okay. There's a Jakob.
Kryno.
I'm aware she recently took silver damage.
Yeah. Because didn't Kryno give you +4 life or health?
Just damage.
Okay.
Yep.
It gives me more dice to my pool.
I thought it gave you 4 health.
You added those dice to your
dice
dodge
to physical
as well, right?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Go ahead and roll those because it's all physical
Okay.
tests, and this is absolutely a physical test.
Okay.
And then, don't worry, Kiriana, we're going to get to your shots here in just a second. No matter what, she's ripping that hunter into pieces. It's just how much damage she's taking
Okay,
in the
2 more successes.
2 more successes. Hey, that's better because that puts you at 6 successes total, I believe, for that test.
Yes,
you hit-
6.
All right. Kind of a good news, bad news situation. Because you had between the two of them 9 to dodge against. That reduces my successes to 3. Oh no, wait! These guys, I never called it out. These are not silver shotgun rounds. These guys panicked. So I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. What you take is 2 rounds, but in your Rhinos werewolf state. 3 points of superficial damage. No, 3 points of damage are reduced by half, and we'll round down. No, we're gonna round up because I'm being too nice at the moment. But that's 2 points of superficial damage. So at the moment, you have 3 points of aggravated and 2 points of superficial. You're doing great. Please tell me what happens as you rip that one person on the right completely to shreds.
I think very like the bullet, just kind of like as we go through, kind of pull. One claw goes this way and the other goes this way, and it sort of pulls the body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like the shoulder pulls and cracks into the rib cage as they just get twisted and wrenched a little bit.
Try not to fight a werewolf one-on-one if you have a chance to make the choice. Because of your stated intent at the very beginning, as you rip through them, your other hand still rakes across the side of the other one, who takes a single point of aggravated damage from the spillover of what you had remaining upon completely decimating the other person. And Cassandra, you fired...
Kiriana.
6. That's gonna fuck me. Okay. Kiriana. You rolled firearms. He potentially will have dodged a little bit against that because I gave him the damage without considering his defensive roll. But okay, so his defensive roll was a 3. What was your firearms?
1, a 6, and 3 10s.
6. That's 6 with a crit. Okay, cool. This person contributed to the damage that went into Neri, and then immediately takes 4 shots, one in the shoulder, 3 to their center mass, and falls to the ground. In addition to the swipe along their abdomen, they're not looking good, but they're also not dead. And as they hit the ground, they look up and they spot you for the first time. Kiriana, it's no clear sign immediately down to the danger zone. If you want, you can enter the situation.
So Kiriana is going to jump down and walk up. Sorry. Stop it. Sorry, they're over here arguing with each other.
I hear it.
She's gonna jump down and she's going to walk over as she sees Neri tearing apart the other one, and she's just gonna walk over and go, I feel like you didn't understand the situation well. Your friend's gonna die. Listen, the power, is there where would that be?
So I need you to prepare two pools for me. As you state your next action in this situation that's still technically combat to be to try to persuade this person. Do you have any abilities you want to use to ask this question with a little bit extra potency, or are we just using basic general intimidation based on the circumstances?
She has mesmerized, but I don't know if that works.
It couldn't hurt here. It would
Right.
stop them from trying to shoot at you, undoubtedly, which is what they would do as you try to convince them.
Right. Yeah. So I would say manipulation and intimidation.
Okay, so that's what you want to do, like for your role, and I'm totally
Yeah.
down for that. But you're adding mesmerize.
Yes, add mesmerize, which would be
All right.
manipulation and dominate.
Excellent. What's my defense pool?
Your defense pool would be intelligence and resolve.
And Benu, based on Neri's stated action to tear through and continue going, because you have to find that stolen moon, you do go tearing further into the building. It's probably a cool 80 feet across in total, which means you break out of this space that you're in currently, which definitely appeared to be like a conference room overlooking the street, and you go into the hall and you accidentally ram through the wall on the other side in your rage. Looking in here, it's an empty space, but it does smell an awful lot like gasoline, and I'll go ahead and state, as part of your frenzy, with you and I guiding the action together, you duck backwards just in time for an ignition to begin in the room, and you didn't get any petrol on yourself, so that room genuinely begins to go up in flames as a result of your breaking through. And you're in the hallway and you look down left and right and you see some flashing like beams up on the walls. Cameras. Great. And there's an obvious way to get down once again to the lower level. It's through the fucking floor. So I'm gonna have you begin tearing downwards. Using
Am
your
I allowed to tear the camera out of the wall?
I need you to make a willpower check. And if you succeed
Okay.
here, you'll actually completely regain control of your actions. And I want that for you. Before we resolve what the two of you are doing, back down on the lower floor. Nemo, you're following carefully behind, but at speed, directly in the wake of Rosie, as Rosie rips down the hall, attempting not to be shot as much as possible so that she can rip those people apart. I don't know if you just made your attack or if you also rolled for your defense. Could you please give me dodge, which is dexterity and athletics, if you haven't already done so?
I have not. I will do that right now.
Excellent.
Oh, athletics. That's
I have
skill.
that. No.
And Nemo, you do have a lot of cover, but bullets are flying down the hall, so I need a dodge from you as well.
Okay.
0 total. 0 total. That's totally
Even
fine.
with the Krynos form?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because there's +2 for that, right?
+4.
Plus
it
4
4?
for
For
that.
Krynos, it's 4
Okay.
for physical, yeah.
Everybody, I know the story. I don't know how
Baby!
everything works. So thank you to my players for helping me continue to learn. 4.
There we go.
Hey, that's better.
That's way better.
That is
And
much
what did I
better.
This is
need?
about to be
Athletics
a Swiss.
and-
We do have a Garou.
X athletics.
So,
And you have not shifted. No bonuses. But also no susceptibility to silver, which is nice.
Although he was Glabro when he got here.
it was.
It's true. If that affects any of the pools you make, that's great. And if you take any hits, that's bad. So, Rosie, you do take what appears to be... we're going to be nice while being mean. You're going to take... Well, I have to wait until I know how Nemo's defense. 4? Okay.
4
So
successes.
4 successes. Everybody, these 3 rolled really well. I have 13 successes to split between the two of you.
Shit.
Yeah, I see the finger. I think I'll do a real nice.
Okay, I feel like Rosie would take most of them because she's first.
You are first, and that's why I'm going to make it a 7-6 split, which I do believe will still down both of you with aggravated damage. 7 to Rosie, and 6 to Nemo.
I would be down.
You're fully down. Excellent. You're not dead, but
I am unconscious.
You hit the floor.
I'm playing dead.
And you begin sliding at speed. Yes. And Nemo, I assume you're also down? Excellent. You hit the ground, and you too stutter, fall, falter a few more feet. At least for the moment, since you're not dead, you hear, "Secure them! Especially that one!" And you don't necessarily know who they're pointing to, but above table, I'm sure you all know which one I'm indicating. Now, back upstairs. Kiriana?
Is it Nemo?
Could be.
It's me!
It's a 50-50, guys.
I was the turkey all along.
Back upstairs.
Yeah.
Kiriana, I rolled 4. How did you do?
Yeah, you're not gonna like this. A 1, a 5,
Excellent.
3 10s, a 7, an 8, and a 9.
Okay. Your mesmerize is exceptionally successful. This individual, as you were talking to them, was very, very clearly in pain, but that didn't stop them from using their elbows to prop themselves up to try to level the shotgun, and your words immediately stopped them in their tracks. And the gun hasn't lowered, but they, what was your question again? You said, hey, tell me,
Hey.
Where's the power?
Yeah, where's the power? Where's the
Yep.
power source? Where's the box? What's in the box? So I need you guys have this UV thing going. Don't really like that, vampire. Need to know where the power is. Kinda, Yeah,
There's-
come on.
The control room
Mhm.
downstairs,
Of course it is.
just by the staircase to the basement.
Okay. How about the big box outside? Is that one outside?
Back at the building, obscured by a dumpster.
Oh, such a good boy. And at this point, she's going to the knife that she found on the other hunter.
Yep.
She's going to take it out and she's going to stab him.
All right. You make it hurt, I assume.
Oh yes, she's going to slowly push it in just below his rib cage and push up and just slightly twist while making eye contact.
You don't even need that many points in strength as a vampire to begin manipulating this mortal's flesh. And you know how to draw it out for a little bit, going for the connector between, the lungs, the heart, all these systems that can operate at least a little independently when damaged before the final death knell rolls in, and that does come. But you didn't make it pleasant in the slightest for this motherfucker. And if you were a werewolf, I would give you a willpower back, but that's not a thing.
No, it's not a
vampire.
thing.
Yep.
But she'll be like, look, my werewolf friends, they don't like this. I think they call this stolen moon. They don't like it.
And it's really cool that you have a little bit of the curse of Malkov, because you are talking to a corpse, but it is important that those words are stated out loud. Yes.
Just they don't like it a lot. It really bothers them, and she's gonna continue to talk even though she knows that he is dying, and having like almost a full conversation about why stolen moons are bad and why you shouldn't do that to our werewolf friends, and this is not a good thing.
And I'm going to go ahead and auteur director that you're saying all these things out loud as you watch the werewolf get to the hall. I'm going to save you from the fear check of the fire emitting, but that is something we would normally do. Vampires don't like fire. That does? Ooh, okay. But then you turn, so you're not necessarily looking right at it. And you're saying all of these things as you rifle through the belongings of these hunters who did not throw a bunch of shit to the side. And you're finding a lot of things that would be very dangerous to individuals such as yourselves and your companions. Not to the extent that we're going to go through them all right now, but for the remainder of the session, if you say, I want to use something like this, you and I can have a fun time coming up with what that would look like together. Now, we're going to go back in time in real life to the office bedroom of Sam Lopez, a storyteller, who rolled a bunch of dice and feared he was going to down his friends if they didn't roll sufficiently high defensive checks. Being half in charge of Neri's character, he positioned her out in the hall to dig straight down into the hallway where all of this was happening. Neri, using your wind claws, you fall immediately down at a dramatically appropriate moment where two hunters come tearing down the hall to begin securing who you see in this moment through your rage-filled eyes, a downed and unconscious, but still in Krynos form, Rosie. Please make another rage check.
Oh boy. Which dice do I choose? Let's do this. Well, no, let's do this. Oh no. Oh boy. Nope, we're at 4 rage.
You're at 4 rage, but now we're going to come back to what I asked you to do a few moments ago. Willpower.
I got 2 successes and 2 ones.
Which would not have been sufficient to break your frenzy from a difficulty of 3. And that's fine, because we needed you here at a most critical moment. There are 3 mortals you could smell in this space. The rage tech had nothing to do with Rosie. You don't just smell stolen moon blood, or the blood of your companions. Lupus. Pure lupus.
Absolutely not.
I would like you to take an additional 2 die into your aggressive pool as you seek to tear through these mortals who are blocking you from finding anything that contributed to what you currently smell in this space. The fire above is good. Nothing's gonna last in this building on this night. And Rosie, Nemo,
Yes.
please roll just any die you want. It's not going to affect the situation.
Can I also say, for Kiriana, does she notice the fire at all?
Big time.
Okay, so after she has sufficiently played with her prey, she just pulls out the knife and like walks back toward where the hole that she jumped down from, and she kind of looks up and kind of goes, I guess I gotta go outside, and attempts to make it outside, back outside.
What is the pool of dice you would roll for? This would undoubtedly be strength and athletics.
That would be 7.
At 7, can you do, if you want, you can either roll for that, or you can make a hunger rouse check, because a blood surge, take half, would get you onto the roof in a single leap without risking anything. Up to you if you wanted to roll, or if you wanted to do a single hunger rouse. Either way, you risked a critical fail, but you have a greater chance of success with the roll. It's your choice.
Let's do the roll because of the pool of dice. It's a little high.
We
It's
like
so high.
7. Yeah.
Yeah, 7. What's the
Hear
I'm
me
gonna
out.
ask you.
It's only 4 just to make a single leap upward. It's a
Okay.
tall ceiling, which is why you would have needed to have blood surged to
Yes.
just have it outright. But have at it. Let's see.
See what happens. I do have celerity,
What type?
rapid reflexes.
That's not gonna do it.
Dang it.
I know.
Okay.
That's more of a potence thing anyway. But I wanted to see if it would have been sufficient.
That's so close. You said 4?
I did say 4. Ooh. Okay.
So close.
Yeah. I don't know how low you have to crouch to make this happen, but you push blood into your legs, and your legs push you out of the building, and you're back up on the roof.
Okay.
Doing a quick scan, unfortunately, there have been some rather loud sounds. You don't hear sirens yet, but you're listening in the night sky. You're listening in the night air. And yeah, we did another synesthesia moment, but I'm going to move past it to keep us on track. You don't hear anything yet, but listening now is a good baseline to be like, okay, it's only been about 1 minute. Probably any minute now. We gotta hurry. And I assume you start heading toward the end of the building looking for a dumpster?
I'm looking for that power box
Hidden by a dumpster.
hidden
Yep.
by the dumpster. Yes,
Mhm.
and
Cool.
yep, she's gonna look for it and turn the power off.
It should be no surprise that whilst up here, you will encounter one more sentry. If you want,
course.
how would you want to deal with a person who's shocked but alert when you come across them? Because there's not going to be a difficulty once you get to the power box to sabotage it. This is your challenge while committing this course of action. Would you try to mesmerize? Would you try to shoot? Would you just try to hide, etc.?
I think at this point, because of everything else, at this point, Kiriana is literally going to just pull out a one of her guns. Everything's loud anyway, and as soon as she spots the next sentry, she's going to fire point blank, right between the eyes. Well, not point blank. I know I keep saying point blank. My brain is seeing something else and saying something else.
You want to
fire
dead shot? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Maintaining a sufficient distance to utilize your sniper specialty. Go ahead and build your pool. For dexterity and firearms, we'll come back to you in just a moment. But back down on the first level in that atrium where so much has happened in the last few moments. Nary, strength, brawl, 2 obvious targets, but again, you can focus in on one if you'd like. You have your full pool that you already have, and I'm giving you a bonus of 2 based on your current rage, because unfortunately, these assholes have been slaying more than just werewolves. How'd you do?
6.
6.
Successes.
6 is sufficient for you to fully eviscerate one of the 2 right in front of you, with another one still in the background. Do you have sufficient failures on non-rage dice to want to use a willpower, or are you going to keep as is with 6?
I can only reroll 2 of them. And I don't have a lot of willpower left.
You can keep it as it is. If you somehow crit with those 2, you can take out both of these people, but it's up to you.
Let's try it. I think we're angry enough.
Mm-hmm.
Got 1 more success.
Okay. 7 is more than sufficient to kill one and down the other. We don't need to make a differentiation between left or right. You fully take down one of them, and they were so shocked in the action that you have arrived in this space that I would even make the argument that upon sniffing the air, whilst coming through the ceiling, you would land in the act of shredding this one person fully in half. Your claw comes down in such a fashion that same arc swipes through, causing 2 damage to the other person, and in a shock, they're ineffectually firing a weapon directly into the air. The person a little bit further back, however, still has their weapon out, was maintaining the scene, and they fire upon you. Please make an athletics and dexterity roll to attempt to dodge this shot from a weapon that was not too dissimilar to the one fired at you on the roof. I'm going to give that really quick. And Nemo and Rosie, if you don't mind, again, choose any die you want. Does it even have to be a D10? Just roll it again for fun for me, please. Mm-hmm. And as the 2 of you lie on the ground, you once again are fully conscious, but you're fading. If you take any additional deliberate damage, like a paper cut's not going to take you out, but if somebody makes the conscious choice to damage you in your current state, both of you having taken silver to damage, and for the remainder of the scene, until we can find a satisfying ending to this scene, which doesn't have to be the end of the episode, you're unable to heal. What are the thoughts going through your minds in this moment, knowing that you are now out of your frenzy, Rosie, but you are falling short of what you set out to tonight? And Nemo, you are back from the Umbra in your home state of the world, and yet you're so close to death. You just made it home. What are the 2 of you thinking?
I think Rosie she feels like such an absolute failure, because the one thing that a werewolf should be able to do is fight physically, and that's something she's never really been very good at. And this was an important thing. This was rescuing another werewolf. This was rescuing another Garou. This was rescuing Wilco. She's never even met Wilco, but she knows about Wilco. This was protecting what it is to be a Garou and protecting what we are, because these hunters are just getting rid of us. Like, I don't think Rosie's ever really killed much because that's not what she does. She's the tech person, you know, that just is what she does. But this was her one chance to just be incredibly proud of being an animal, of being a force of nature. And she's just utterly failed at this point. And she just is doing her best to crawl to try to do something.
Mhm.
But she's just almost entirely beaten.
And Nemo.
So, a little bit opposite of Rosie. Nemo's gonna kind of like look at the damage, like all the blood that is basically coming out of Rosie, and look as Neri it has there and what's doing. And Nemo is just gonna basically have like a flashback to the Umbra and get really mad and start going into Crino.
Nemo wants to do that so bad. Do you feel defeated in the slightest, knowing that in your unconscious state you're seeking that, but it's just not coming to you? How does it make you feel in your liminal state of consciousness to know that something that should come so naturally is evading you entirely? The wolf is there, but it's not able to be called out to. How does that feel?
So Nemo's probably going to feel like just trying to like push himself and obviously not having the endurance anymore to do that.
The wolf is there. A little bit of a devil deal as we get closer and closer to the potential end of this session. If Nemo wants to shift, that's totally fine. He won't survive it. You can run the risk of making it out of this situation assuming you don't take additional damage, or you can ensure somebody else does make it at the loss of yourself. Take a moment to think about that. Cassandra, up on the roof. Damn it, that's 7. Okay. There goes all the tension. Kiriana, up on the roof. You fired a shot. How did you do?
She got 2 7s, an 8, a 10, and a 5.
Okay. That single shot does strike the person high in the torso, but it's not sufficient to kill them. They had a pretty good dodge roll, but they do take what sounds like 4 points of damage, and they're not doing great.
Okay.
And you continue to run, and they are unfortunately going to fire back. Please give me a dodge pool, unless I already asked for that, and you already did. I don't think you did. That's what I thought. Okay.
That would be dexterity and
athletics. And I'll go ahead and tell you right now, the number you're seeking to beat is 6. You'll hold on. Do you have a folkloric bane to silver?
Hang on. No.
Sounds like you might be just fine. Go ahead and continue to roll.
Okay.
Yeah, do your thing.
Okay.
Dex athletics.
Yeah, totally fine.
And lying on the floor, contemplating this decision, Nemo, looking up, you see as Neri seeks to strike through and continue on this warpath with shots firing in her direction. Neri, how was that dodge roll you took?
5 successes.
5 successes. You take only a single point. No, unfortunately, it's 2. Fuck, it's 2. It's 2. Damn, it's 2 points of aggravated damage as this next shot fires into you. The way that superficial damage works I do believe, unfortunately, you too, math-wise, begin slumping. Okay.
Can I spend my last willpower?
You should
You
still have
certainly may.
3, I think. The
What was
the
that?
4 from Kryno still.
She...
Yep, I added the 4 from Krynos.
Oh,
I
and
didn't
you
get
took
a
more
ton of
damage.
successes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I added 1 success.
Then you only take the single point of aggravated damage, and you're not down. Yes, your superficial damage stack would have put you at the edge, but you're still upright. You still have 1.5 foes to go. They are unfortunately going to do exactly what hunters do, assuming they're not taken down expeditiously, knowing full well that unlike a 5e or other map grid game, you're not dealing with a factor of how much speed you can cover. Obviously, you're not going to go a full mile at the moment, but you can get to both, assuming you want to continue on this path to attack, and you are currently very mad, and that seems like the most pressing and most prudent measure. But I will state that in your current space of survival, fight, or flight, if you absolutely needed to, the beast within knows that running might be a viable option. As you consider that, I'll go to Nemo again for just a moment. Is it worth the risk? Jacob, you don't have to say yes. I'm not goading you into it. This is a genuine...
No, I'm just thinking of like what Nemo would say. We're gonna go yes. I think Nemo would push it.
Knowing full well that I might add some details with reference to you tearing yourself apart in the process, what does it look like as Nemo shifts into Krynos one last time?
So, well, and the first time. As Nemo shifts, you see as that happens and the jacket on him just kind of falls off, that white streak that was in his hair has now almost made his Krynos form look like a skunk. He's got 2 white stripes that go down his back, and he's just gonna rush straight in and basically with the brawl and the skull try and kill these last 2 hunters.
Excellent. Neri, as you consider, even within your frenzied state, do I stay and do I stand this ground or do I go? You see shoving himself up from the floor, shifting from an all too well-known Glabro form into a much more impressive, although not as impressive as yourself, Krynos war form. Your odds of success have nearly doubled. Nearly because, unfortunately, as he stands up, you can see tears in his flesh, fur falling from his form, bleeding from numerous wounds that don't match up with what was presented to his non-Krynos form previously. A greater sense of the beast within you knows that this packmate is going to fall. Are you going to stay and fight alongside him?
Our strides may be silent, but they reach far. Let's fucking go.
Both of you, as a result of that decision and that statement, will gain 2 dice, as happened previously, to your strength and brawl rolls to continue shredding through these 2 remaining hunters in the hall.
What if I have to roll twice?
Don't worry about it.
My hands are not big enough.
On the roof, a defensive roll was made against a shot. How'd you do?
So 4.
4. Okay. You are only, for all intents and purposes, going to take a single point of aggravated damage and 1 superficial's worth of damage. But at present, what that really equates to is 3 points of superficial damage. As a bullet that you can tell was intended to defend against werewolves comes flying directly into your torso, followed by another and then a third. You are able to continue running straight through it. Damage sucks, but you can heal it. And that person you hear goes, fuck, and ejects the magazine, and you see them reach and they grab a different one And you can tell that the next shot might be a little bit more painful. Are you going to try to bring them down completely, knowing full well you've done a considerable amount of damage?
She's going to fire again.
Excellent. Go ahead and make that. And also, assuming this doesn't kill them outright, please prepare a dodge roll as well. So
I'm going to
get
do the
that
dodge roll
going.
first, and then I'll do the fire after.
Sounds fair. Back down in the hall. These two hunters are similarly readying attacks in both of your direction. I'm going to ready their personal dodge rolls against any attacks that are coming in their direction, but they don't have the benefit that the two of you do at the moment.
You don't have to do that. I'll just tell you that. You don't have to do that.
Sure. Okay, how the two of you do.
9 successes.
You go first.
How many?
9.
9. Cool. And Nemo?
16.
Please dust your shoulder off as you tell us how you just did that. I'm assuming at least one crit, so go ahead and explain yourself as 25
It's
points.
4 crit successes.
Ooh.
And then the rest. That's why I had to roll twice, because I didn't have enough dice. Because 4 from Kryno, 2 that you gave us, and then Strength 3 and Brawl 3.
Okay. Well, I'm not even
This
going to worry
may
about their
sound-
defense rolls. I'm not even going to worry about their defense
That's
rolls.
why I was like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Please, the two of you weave together a story about how you rip through the hall. We can even throw in an additional hunter who is coming around. They're not going to survive. Please, what does it look like as Nemo goes on one last ride, coming back from the brink of death, knowing full well he's going to walk through that gate in just a few moments? What is his last silent or not so silent stride alongside Neri, a packmate?
I think seeing Nemo begin to pull himself apart, Neri kind of pulls as like a platform and springs him at the other two, while at the same time bum rushing straight forward and just plow straight through. And however Nemo wants to
You're throwing me?
empower himself. Essentially,
Um,
I'm
Sure.
springing you forward.
as that happens, everybody watching, have you seen Looney Tunes? Nemo turns into the Tasmanian devil, just claws and everything, as that tornado of claws and teeth and everything just rip through these hunters.
And Nemo, tear through them you do. A literal venerable whirlwind of fur, claw, and teeth gnashes through everything directly in front of you, Neri running behind and literally sweeping up anything that looks like it's still alive in your wake. Sarah, this scene, for all intents and purposes, comes to an end shortly thereafter, at which point Rosie takes 2 additional points of health back. It's something that you usually roll for, but you come out of your silver damaged state and there's blood all over the room. Rosie wanted to contribute to that, but there is some pride in seeing what the pack has accomplished. Standing up, you do see at the end of the hall, only moments after this action has taken place, as Neri and Nemo, Neri having, for all intents and purposes, executed some of that rage in these last few actions, taking control of herself yet again, but fully at risk of another frenzy, is standing there as Nemo, you begin to keel. You have any last things you want to say to these two before they continue on this mission to free another lost wolf?
Yeah, as Nemo kind of like turns around, and it's that very hazy look as he's looking at them and everything. It's kind of like I can see their shadows, but I can't necessarily see them. And just blood dripping out of his mouth at this point. And Nemo's going to fall to his knees and just basically say, save the wolves and tell my story.
No,
And
no,
then
no,
he's
no,
gonna-
no, 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 no! You can't. There's gotta be somebody find something. No, Nemo, no! You just got back. No.
Both of you are still in your Krynos states, or have you shifted down?
I
Rosie?
I feel like at this point, Neri would want to be a little bit more clear in what they're doing and go down to Glabro. And seeing a fellow Silent Strider begin to fade,
Mm-hmm.
if permitted the time, would like to begin the Rite of the Grim Reach.
And please let us know what that does.
Essentially, it makes everything that is not you a lot harder to succeed at tests.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Grim reaching out and trying to pull every vestige of you back with it. I make a roll, and if I meet the threshold, all tests in the area not made by us become more difficult, equal to the number of extra successes.
Excellent. I'm going to ask you for a reminder of that here in just a couple of moments, as it will become immediately relevant. But unbeknownst to Rosie and Neri, who have shifted out of their war forms, Nemo, you stand upright. And looking down is something sad, because it's a body you recognize better than most. At least when you're looking in a mirror, for you do see your own crumpled form on the ground, the two of them surrounding it. But at least you're not alone. Directly to your right is a grizzled older man, very dark skin, covered in scars. And it's a little weird that at least in this moment, he's completely unclothed. And he says to you, if they have their wits about them, they'll pick up that skull. It was important enough to you, and you can come along with me, at least for the moment. Don't worry, buddy. It's not so bad in the Umbra. After all, you were just there for 2 years. Been the better part of a decade of me trying to get out, and coming with you is the closest that I've gotten, but 2 of us working together, we'll find a better way. And a spirit of the wild, by way of another fallen wolf, has invited you, at least for now, into his protective domain.
Yeah.
Back on the roof. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be accepted. Back on the roof, Cassandra.
Kiriana.
That's 8. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You were firing another shot.
Yes.
You were rolling defensively first, and because you chose to roll defensively first, I rolled defensively, and I got 7 successes on a firearm and some dex. 5. This one hurts a little bit more. 2 more shots are fired, and these bullets have the fire of faith. You don't necessarily know if the wielder of the weapon believes in the concentrated ammunition that's currently in their weapon, but it doesn't make it any less effective, as you do take 3 points of aggravated damage upon the receipt of these 2 new wounds. But you fired right back. I've been doing a little bit better on these dice in the last few minutes, as I did receive 5 on a success, but they are very damaged. How did you do?
A 6, a 7, and 3 10s.
Okay. Well, look at me brag. You
So-
are... Yeah, go ahead.
So Rihanna, as she fires, she starts humming a tune. You start to hear Pink Sake from One Piece. Not the words, just her going as she fires.
And for all intents and purposes, with that many criticals, you could either have it be a really cool single shot, or you could empty your magazine into this person. The effect will very much be the same. What do you think?
She's gonna do a single shot because she doesn't waste ammunition.
Hmm.
And she's also gonna make sure that she sees where she's going because she wants to get this power out.
Hmm.
So yeah, but it's gonna be a single shot.
We focused fire.
Mhm.
That shot goes through this person's face, and you angle it in such a fashion that I'm not exaggerating. You get it through a pretty sizable chunk of their face. And back down in the hallway, both of you are focused on Nemo's crumpled form, but approximately 20 seconds later, not all of the building's lights go out because as the core lights that are on and the UV lights that were on shift downward, some degree or another of emergency light shifts up. You can tell that this building must be operating on an old city grid backup system with reference to weather potentially having put out core power, but for all intents and purposes, at least that degree of traps has been fully released. The two of you heard essential words. Or no, Neri, you heard essential words in your Krynos form upstairs before coming down. There's a basement. Stairs are probably not too far away, and if you were going to be hiding any potential Garou or other wolves, basement makes the most sense. Are you going to wait for Kiriana to catch up with you?
I feel like Neri wants to make what's left of herself count. So we're gonna pull a little bit and get as much power as possible downstairs at the
Now,
same time.
for dramatic purposes, everything that was described previously has occurred, but I will auteur director shift both of you, not having from gotten a Krynos back down in the Hamid form, but you would have been in your state of brief mourning and calming in Glabro. For you see, in Glabro, both of you have had sufficient time to begin healing back up. And around the time that Kiriana makes her way back up to the roof, back over to the hole, down a new hole, the fire has spread pretty sufficiently. We once again won't waste time on a fire fear check. We want to keep this moving forward. Do know, however, viewers and players at the table, vampires are usually very wary of fire, but I would love to keep my good friend Sam in the scene. I will translate that to Kiriana communicating to her two friends the degree of intensity they must treat these next steps. For you see, fire bad, fire grows.
Yeah.
But the three of you together, it doesn't take
Fire
too much
bad,
work to...
tree pretty.
That's true. Actually, both of those points are true. And as you three move towards the stairs, the
I'm
two
gathering
paranoid...
we're not gonna,
No?
Because
Hold on.
I was originally thinking the right, but with the fire, we probably don't have time.
Thank you for reminding me. I don't believe we have sufficient time for the right. But the three of you move towards the stairs. Two of you who are currently moving in that direction are among the paranoid members of the group that had set out initially. You two are watching for additional attackers, obvious additional traps, security measures that would stop you up. But we take a brief respite from the three of you as we shift down to a cage. This cage is one level below the basement at the bottom of the building, for they dug into the Portland Underground for this detention area. Wilco, it's been 2 days. In the act of having been positioned here for the last 2 days, you have been continuously electrified by silvered diodes directly in your person. That hasn't knocked you out, unfortunately, and you've watched, horrified, as across from you, two additional wolves, and I mean Garou when I say it in this instance, were skinned alive before your eyes. Not only that, they were kept alive. And some insidious thing they did allowed them to heal back. And they were in the process of being skinned again, just as you were probably about a full third of the way into your first personal skinning when the alarms started. You've had enough time to consider your thoughts and to pant and to really feel that pain, because they're using silvered blades in this process to build a lot of rage about everything you've seen in these last 2 days. And that's important, because seemingly all at once, all of this boiling to the surface, the power stops. The diodes are still attached, the pins are still inserted, but you're no longer actively being shocked out of your control. There's one mortal who you saw taking part in these skinnings over the last 24 hours, still downstairs guarding the three of you. But the three of you begin to come into your personal control and wakefulness at about the same time. What are her first thoughts in this moment?
I think Wilco just breathes deep and just takes in all of those smells of the blood, of the burning, of the skinning, of the despair, of the fire, of the electricity, of everything. And she just breathes it all in and just channels it into, you know what to do, kids, let's get them. And just slowly, methodically takes off all of the diodes that are on her, covers herself up as much as she needs to be decent, because you don't want to go out there not wearing anything. And just slowly gets up, maintains eye contact with that one fucking human that's there, opens the door, grabs his throat, and slowly pushes him into the wall and says to the other werewolves that are there, "I'll hold him, kids. You get him."
Now, 8 misnamings occurred that were not counteracted this evening, and in what was intended to be the final conflict of this session, there were going to be points taken away from my attempts to succeed on things to be mean to you guys. What's going to happen instead is that is a sufficient number of points to fully escape from this final conflict as the building continues to burn up above. The three of you come to the base of the stairs, and Neri and Rosie, you are now sensing that, unfortunately, this is no stolen moon on the premises, but instead a place where they're being created. There are obviously at the base of the stairs into this basement space 2 drying, fully skinned pelts from Krynos werewolves. There's one person who is very clearly immortal, lying in a sickbed, and you see burn marks all along their arms and torso. You may not know the full specifics of the procedure that people undergo to become a stolen moon, but you know that the ritual doesn't always take, and it is a ritual for dark power goes into somebody fusing their soul with that of the stolen moon. I assume that something bad happens to this person.
Absolutely. Slowly and very angrily.
After slowly, but not too slowly, after taking the appropriate amount of time to make sure that their misery is prolonged into their death, you continue moving along down the hall. There are, unfortunately, Neri, a few pens, and in those pens are deceased animals. An assertion can be made probably within the next hour, if not 24 hours, that regular wolves were kidnapped under the assumption that maybe they were Garou in hiding, and they were not treated well in the act of trying to discern their true nature.
Do I recognize them?
Some. Would you like to choose to frenzy, or do you think that Neri would be able to hold it in?
And this is a very pointed question. Is it the one remaining? And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Not this night.
Holding it together, but barely. And she's gonna go on a hunt when this is all over.
Okay. You consider the notion that fire burns above, and that unfortunately, that likely means these wolves won't gain a proper burial. But from ash does come growth, as fire is a natural part of this world. It's not the best outcome you could have hoped for them. But perhaps adding additional petrol or fuel to the fire on your way out will ensure the fire makes its way down here.
Can we at least take Nemo with us?
You absolutely can. And that will come in just a few moments. It's guaranteed at this point. But narratively, at this point, this late into the real-life human evening, the three of you make your way down, not finding any additional persons. For you see the conflict throughout Portland is alive and well, and if other people were regularly stationed here, they were out and about on other activities this night. You eventually find your way to the underground entrance from the basement, and that's right around the time of recovering Wilco, for you do see scarring as her skin recovers, having all been spared the macabre display of her skin literally hanging off her person. They have made clear their feelings about their treatment, as not only Wilco, but 2 other Garou in this place are shredding into a person. And Wilco, what do you say as these 3 come tottering into the room? You're muted. I'm so sorry.
Oh, hey kids, how you doing? Yeah, we found it. This guy right here, he was doing some of that flaying. You know how those humans can be, making all those stupid choices. Can't tell them, they gotta learn on their own, and he's learning right now.
And he is
Give
the
him an
intent
extra
to keep him
fracture for
alive.
Nemo.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, Danu.
Good. Give him an extra fracture for Nemo.
Please, seriously, you don't understand. We had
Oh, I reach in his mouth and I just rip his tongue out.
Okay,
fair.
there it is. That'll do it.
No, you don't we don't want to hear your screams. You didn't let us scream when you were taking the flesh off of our bodies. Oh, what? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You gotta speak up there, buddy.
So as Kiriana's watching all this, she starts to giggle oddly. She's not entirely sure why, but she starts giggling. Sorry guys. It's just yeah.
It's a fair, yeah.
For some reason the tongue coming out makes her giggle.
Fair.
And the now 6 of you find yourselves at a little bit of an impasse, for you see emergency services are undoubtedly coming on the surface. The underground is dangerous, but you know that moving in that direction means you won't have to interact with many mortals. Some seek respite down in this place, away from a society that has mistreated them, but additional threats could be this way. However, that shouldn't be too much of an issue for 5 Garou and 1 Kindred. Or, going through the surface once again, you're more likely to run into assistance, more likely to rejoin any additional conflicts that are still happening on the grounds above. What do you think would be the most prudent measure among the 5 of you, including 2 instances of Sarah?
Yeah. Rosie will speak up and say, listen guys, so we probably want to stay underground in order to avoid all of the, human emergency services and everything. We need to make sure we have Nemo and the skull he came with.
And
because that was important to him.
Yeah. It sounds then like, especially with Kiriana's urging, the Nemo would have come down to avoid the flames. And
I have maps.
Exactly. I was gonna say, it's not hard to look up underground maps in Portland. And I know a safe place we can go.
And Kiriana kind of goes, yeah, I kind of left some bodies up there and outside, and I don't think you want to interact with having to explain the gunshots and the bullets.
I mean, I ripped several people completely.
True. Yeah. I mean,
so.
But, yeah, and that. There's also that. And the fire. And
yeah.
I'm kind of, there's stuff going on. I'm also kind of hurt a lot not feeling great. Wanna kind of not be here. Oh, also, I'm sorry, you're Wilco, right?
Yeah, hi,
Yeah,
nice to
hi.
meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Listen, get that you're mad, but that was some great work, that tongue thing.
Oh, I couldn't. He was gonna keep yelling, and it was just gonna be repeating himself, and it
Cool,
wasn't
cool,
gonna
cool.
make it was gonna make anything easier.
Yeah, you feel like a mom. Could we go?
Yeah, come on, let's get you all healed up, kiddo. Let's get going.
Cool.
And sure enough,
Mary
it
will
does
carry
take
Neil herself.
Oh yeah. It takes a little bit of work with either the wind claws or a concerted effort between numerous wolves together, but shedding through the actual wall barriers that have been established to disconnect this from the greater Portland Underground takes practically no work whatsoever. The not 5 but 6 of you, carrying Nemo with reverence in addition to the skull that he had carried back from the Umbra, make your way into the underground, away from one form of danger, having saved 3 other members of the Garou Nation in the process. And I believe that's where we will close this session for the evening. Everybody, thank you for joining us for this side story to The Night of the Wyrm, a Tabletop Misfits production of both Werewolf the Apocalypse and Vampire the Masquerade. I have been your storyteller this evening, and with reference to World of Darkness play, this is the first time I've had a character death. Jacob, I want to thank you for going on that journey with me, and to each of you for being a part of this story tonight. We are delighted to have Wilco back among safe members of her tribe. I have been your storyteller. My name is Sam Lopez. You can find me in most places at Dungeon Samster, and I'm going to go, frankly, through the same order that I issued at the top of the session, and that means we're going to begin with Sam.
Yay! You didn't say Cassandra. Hi, I'm Classic Sam NYGM. Classic Sam NYGM on all social media platforms. You can find me specifically here on Twitch over at my channel, Classic Sam NYGM, where I interview amazing content creators, authors, comic book, and all nerds in between, so that you can find the most talented people in our space. Also, you can find me here on Tabletop Misfits, where I play Cassandra, who may or may not be the real Cassandra. I play Kiriana. Thank you so much. This was so much fun having to play a different Malkavian. So, yay. I'm going to shoot it over to Jacob.
Hey guys, I'm Jacob. Obviously, I play Nemo, that is now in the Umbra, the spirit. Yeah, I mean, it was great taking this ride with you, Sam, playing this. I know that you have like 20 bajillion characters you keep asking me to make, so, it won't be the first time, it won't be the last time, but you can find me at Bard's Tavern on Instagram and other places, as well as with Sam and all of our other great DMs and stuff that are on our team at Tabletop Misfits.
Let's go over to either Benu or Sarah.
All right. I am Banu. I am not super active everywhere on Twitch, but there'll be some stuff coming up, doing a lot of fun stuff with some of my friends for the winter, doing a couple of cute little things, take a break from the serious stuff. But it has been more than a pleasure.
And Sarah.
Hello, my name is Sarah Babe. I'm SJ Babe on a lot of things on the interwebs. You can Google me, but make sure to have your safe search on. You can find me with Theater of the Mind Flayers on YouTube, encounterparty.com. You can find us on the Dungeons and Dragons Adventures Network. It's a fun show. I like it. I'm also on a podcast called Gaming Shelf Help, which is real fun. 3 of us talk about games, about how you would like them, why we should like them, why you should buy them, who should buy them, all that fun stuff. You can also find me on legacy episodes of Plot Points, which has got a huge backlog of those ones. But I'm around all over the place, big old nerd. And I have had such an absolute lovely time playing. And it's not often that other places that I guessed make me cry. So that was like, great. Thank you very much. Screw you, Jacob. Thank you all so much.
Hell yeah. I think Nemo would be glad to know that he gave himself up to bring Wilco back out of into the light. And I want to thank you once again all for joining us this evening and watching this story with us, for all the players at my table this evening for going on that journey with me. And I do want to say that over the next couple of seconds, you'll be able to see all the wonderful sponsors that Tabletop Misfits works with in the chat on Twitch. I don't want to take the time because I want to end this on an emotional note to go through those sponsors at present. Just know that we work very well with these people and they provide excellent offerings for both your gaming lifestyle and actual gaming at the table purposes. You can find us on most weeknights and on Sundays in particular with other programming with Tabletop Misfits. And again, want to focus on bringing an end to this story and an end to the night at the same time. Thanks for joining us, and keep an eye out for the series finale of Night of the Wyrm in about a week and a half. Take care.
See ya.